365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
And welcome everybody to Real Talk on this lovely Thursday evening. We got Kenny in here, we got Chris in here, we got Dev with me, and we got a lot to get into. Some hot things going on in the world of sports, NBA, and even some NFL. Since the last time we spoke with y'all, which was a week ago, we was off for the holiday. So first, fellas, how is everybody?
Good. Glad to be back. Enjoy the holiday and ready to talk some sports.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to start with the topic we hadn't really addressed, and I, for one, hadn't really addressed it just because I believe my opinion is not very popular. And
Shocking.
So, but this is like a real issue, not like the other stuff we'd be talking. And so, Brittany Griner today, I believe it was today, pleaded guilty to, I don't know exactly what the charge was, but basically having the drugs over there. It was a vape pen.
They calling it criminal, like drug smuggling or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something
trafficking and all that.
Drug trafficking. Yeah.
Okay, I know she's facing up to 10 years.
Right.
And for me, this is the underbelly, sick side of politics. Like I've heard her, or I didn't hear her say, but what has come out is like she said she's made this trip a bunch of times. Like this isn't the first time she did this. It was, I guess, opportunistic on Russia's part, given everything that's going on in the world, and we don't necessarily have to go that route. But I'd be lying if I said there wasn't politics involved, and I'm happy to hear. I guess it seems like there's progress from everything that we've heard, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. This is like a precursor potentially to a prisoner swap, is what I've heard. Which trading, and this is the part where it gets weird, is trading an arms dealer for somebody with a vape pen. That ain't a fair trade to me. Like I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Russia's definitely winning that trade if we're giving up.
Yeah. We Wolves gave up a lot. Like, for Rudy Gobert, like this, as a citizen, as an objective person, if I was in that position, I don't know if I'd make that trade. Like, I get it. I think it's an injustice. I think they're doing her super dirty. But at the same time, she did bring the pen. And you gotta know the rules when you move around. I know maybe a year or two ago, Lil Baby and James Harden was over there in Paris and they had an incident. And we've had other people have incidents overseas and it ain't here. And so I think you got to be cognizant of that when you're moving around. And that's a life I don't really live because I don't travel, play professional sports. But I think the onus ultimately falls on the person, whether it's over there or over here. So I just wanted to kind of give that perspective, and then we can kind of open it up to get you guys' thoughts. I'll start with you, Chris. Your thoughts on the whole Brittany Griner situation. Would you make that trade? And then we can kind of get into if it was a male athlete, would they be handled differently and why? But we can start with right now, just would you make the trade?
I mean, I don't really want to speak on if I make this thing is so political. Like, saying if you to make a trade or prisoner swap, yes, you want to bring back, your citizen, but there's so much politics going on to this. Why I ultimately just feel bad for Brittany Griner because it's dirty how she's being treated. She's put it, yeah. I mean, I see both sides. I just feel bad for her because now she's just about to. It looks like she's just getting used as a political tool. They're not really caring about how she is, how she feels, her senses. It's just, okay, if I'm Russia, how can we use this to get some leverage on the United States? The United States is trying to figure out how we bring her back. Now, to your question, if she's a male athlete, I saw somebody say, I think it was a coach, or I don't want to, misquote say the person is. This is LeBron. If this is LeBron James, this is LeBron James, they be doing well. Let's go there. Let's say I saw somebody say this was Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Don't just say if it was LeBron. Like let's say, let's say if it's Tom Brady. Let's say he's the biggest athlete, and I don't kind of agree with it. I think if it's any athlete, they're going to work. I would hope they would work as hard, equally to bring them back. So that's how I'm just going to have to try to look at it. But no, I feel bad for Brittany Griner, man. I do. She's going through something, and my thoughts and prayers out to her and her family.
Dev?
It sucks. You know what I mean? It like, number one, this should be a message that us sports people should really pay attention to WNBA and take WNBA serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Brittany Griner didn't have to keep traveling overseas to make her money, she probably wouldn't be in this predicament. You know what I mean? And if you flip it on the flip side, if it was LeBron, I think Russia will hold LeBron to the longest extent because it's LeBron. You know what I mean? If it's any top athlete, or anybody that's important to us, pretty much, you know what I mean, they're going to hold him. And it sucks that it had to be Brittany Griner. You know what I mean? I wouldn't wish that on anybody. For you to travel over there multiple years, I'm pretty sure that this ain't the first time that you took a pen or you took anything in that nature over there. And then now you get jammed up just because of who you are. You know what I mean? If one of us probably would have went through, we probably would have got a harsh, a harsh sentence from over there, and we wouldn't be talked about, in Biden's plan or anybody's plan.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, hey, you on your own, you shouldn't have took it.
Right. No one gives a second thought.
Mm-hmm.
So it just sucks that it's going to have to take a political swap or a political talk just for this young lady to come home, man. And like Chris said, man, my deepest thoughts is to her, man. And I hope she can come home soon.
Kenny?
Yeah, I just think that it's Devin hit the point that I wanted to touch on. I think the sad part is the fact that she had to go over there because of the salary disparity between the NBA and the WNBA. I'm hoping that this will be a spark to get that addressed, because it's unfortunate that why should they have to? We're supposed to be the most powerful country in the world, the richest country in the world, blah blah blah, but they got to go over to Russia to get paid more money than they get paid over here in the United States. Like, to me, that's an indictment on us as a country, and as well on the NBA, who's the parent company to the WNBA, that they're not paying these young ladies what they should be getting paid. Because and don't get me wrong, like they make millions of dollars. Don't get it too. They get millions. They get 6 figures plus 6 figures, 7 figures. Some of them get playing overseas.
Some of them, I think it's only like quite a few of them. I did some research on it, but keep going. I'm gonna find it real quick.
Yeah, but I'm saying that they're getting significant money to play over there. So I don't understand. Like, if I don't see why that isn't the case here. And I think the other part of it is that she got caught up in the middle of she was at the wrong place at the wrong time, I think, because with this Ukraine and Russia situation, she just got caught in the middle of became a political pawn, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. And I think the other thing is that you mentioned, Ray, about guys getting jammed up, like the James Hardens, the little babies. I think it was Travis Scott got jammed up too overseas somewhere, and Donald Trump.
ASAP Rocky, all those
guys. ASAP Rocky got jammed up overseas, and Donald Trump stepped in and secured his return home. So I just think sometimes we have to use our political force. Now, the thing I want to be clear about, and you guys help me out here, is when they're doing this prisoner swap, this guy is going to just be moved to a Russian prison, correct? He's not getting freed or anything like that, right?
I believe Russia can free him now. Once he gets back over to Russia territory, he can be free. Because I believe whatever criminal activities he did was on U.S. soil.
Okay, because see, if that's the case, then I don't know if I'm with that because this guy was considered to be, a threat
like
to
a terrorist.
Yeah, like a terrorist. So I don't know, how good I am with, we might have to find somebody else to do a swap with because, I'm not sure about him being free to be able to do,
Illegal
whatever and
things.
whenever. That's a threat to our safety. So I'm not quite sure about that. But I just think it's it's crazy that this is going on. It's crazy that she's looking at 10 years for a vape pen. I just think again, this is an example of political corruption and political systems going wrong. It is, I'm sad for Brittany Griner, and I hope and pray that they're able to intervene on her behalf and bring her home.
To back you up real quick, Kenny, it was only 14 players last year in the WNBA that made over 200,000. You have to be from 0 to 200. I mean, the 0 to 2 years, players make about 58,000 to 59,000 a year, and then from 3 players and up, make about 70,000 a year.
Yeah, the pay is criminal.
They're making 6 and 7 figures overseas.
So yeah, they really, and the lowest NBA salary over here was, I forgot the dude's name, and he only made 92,000, and he was the lowest in the NBA salary.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was a 2-way deal. That wasn't
or a 10-day, something.
Yeah, that wasn't a straight NBA contract. Because minimum salaries, even the veteran minimum, is like 1 million something.
So I hear you.
Here it comes. Get ready, y'all.
Like nobody. Like I'm just curious on like where he's trying to go with this.
So here's my thing, and like I said, let me be very clear. I think she's being done wrong, but I get why, and I think sometimes, well, not sometimes, we as a country tend to emotionalize situations, and I think in this a WNBA point, and I want to touch on the salary discrepancy. The reason there's a salary discrepancy is because that's the business. Like those are the deals that they negotiated. This isn't an NBA problem. This is a product problem. If the product was better, people would pay more to see it. So I'm not saying the product's bad, but what I'm saying is ESPN, Fox, or whoever's playing it is paying that, and that's why the salary structure is the way it is. I don't believe the NBA doesn't support the WNBA. I believe the citizens of the country don't.
I don't think anyone said that they're getting. I just think that they don't support it enough.
Like, I disagree. We've seen athletes expect, at least since Kobe, that have been consistently back in the WNBA and saying they deserve more. But this isn't the women's soccer U.S. team versus the men's U.S. team, where there's a clear difference in talent and the women are winning World Cups and stuff. Like, women's basketball is cool, and they make pretty good money for a woman in this country. But this idea that they should be making 6 and 7 figures, so where's that money coming from? Like, that's a sponsorship. They need to be
market. Yeah, I agree. It's sponsorship and marketing. Like,
yeah, I think they need better sponsors. They need sponsorship, in my opinion.
Right. But so that's a WNBA issue. That ain't a NBA problem. That's not a citizen problem. Like, if they was throwing oops and shooting Steph Curry threes on a regular basis, I think there would be more interest, would draw more money. I think.
But you just had the girl Sabrina just dropped like a 30 triple double, and she's like the only WNBA female in history. Like I said, it's some female ballers.
We can't. Everybody's talking. We can't hear.
The women's Final Four, they get 40,000 fans there, so I can't go with that.
The problem is when you go on social media and you scroll and you see Sports Center house highlights, they're always posting NBA or NCAA men's. They're not posting WNBA. That's so it's not. I feel like the product is fine, but what they need to focus on.
That's why these sports shows talk about the same teams every day. It's the same thing. If they had a 30-minute WNBA segment, I can promise you the target audience of ESPN is not going to sit and watch.
Because how much does ESPN show the WNBA versus they show the NBA? They show the same things.
How often do they show highlights of WNBA games?
Exactly.
How often do they talk about?
I think
early mornings.
I see it.
It's like early mornings when they show WNBA highlights.
There's a reason
when the
You know,
WNBA has their
you're not seeing no
playoffs.
highlights.
I don't see these big networks talking about the playoffs when the WNBA had their playoffs. I don't see ESPN,
Why?
Fox
We're gonna
Sports
get
1.
this gets into the
It has
next topic about that, but there's a reason why. You think if they thought they would make more money by giving them more air, they wouldn't do it?
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that they value the product enough. So they don't
because we don't
allocate
value
the resources to it.
Like I look, there's a reason I'll speak to Washington.
I'll say this. It's
the
the average and don't know anything fan. That's where you get your money from. Because the true basketball fans are going to watch basketball, whether it's NBA, WNBA, high school, or college. They're going to find a way to watch basketball. It's the people that don't know nothing about nothing. That they see a dunk and they think it's the best things to slice bread. So if they don't see a dunk, they don't want to tune in. It's not your true fans. It's the casual fans, the one that pay the money. And the casual fans sadly just do not want to watch the WNBA. And they'd rather watch somebody do a stupid dunk.
And I could say the same thing about hockey. But hockey doesn't generate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Ratings or generate the revenue, but they still get paid.
Right, but if you see these hockey deals, they're way lower than NFL, NBA, and
but I'm saying they still make significant money.
When you see these hockey games, they're in the mains arena and they're selling it out. The WNBA teams, a lot of them they don't even play like here in Washington. They don't play in Capital One. They play in a separate, smaller venue, and they don't even sell that out. So it's economics. It ain't,
and that's crazy because the Mystics is not bad either. Well, at least the last couple of years they haven't been bad.
I agree. We won a title. We got Elena Della now. We've had big names.
Chicago game was packed during the playoffs.
Okay, and during the playoffs, that's different.
I'm just saying, that was a time. That was a time that I was really tapped in and tuned in. But I'm just saying, I think that other revenue streams just besides the gate, and NBA makes money in a lot of different ways. So I'm not going with that.
The WNBA are not targeting the right people to get the sponsorships. They're probably looking at these big things, trying to get the big pies, just win off these little breadcrumbs. You're going to turn your breadcrumbs into pies. I'm trying to tell you, it's a WNBA player, Lexi Brown. She had her own podcast, and she named a whole bunch of things where she thinks the WNBA should look at for sponsorships. And if you listen to it, so I don't want to misquote her, all things she said, target your right audience. Target the young girls that hoop. Target the right people, and you're gonna get the right sponsorship
niche markets.
Yeah,
right. And if that's your niche market, you're not gonna make as much money. That's just the reality. And they got
I mean,
but I don't think nobody's saying that they should be getting paid tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
we're saying that they should be able to get paid enough to where they don't have to go overseas. I don't think that's a big ask.
So if you're making that statement, and y'all seem to be in a consensus, so y'all saying there is enough money, and they're just not distributing it right? Is that what I'm understanding?
I'm saying their game plan is wrong. Whatever they're doing, it's been wrong for years because that's why these women keep having to go overseas to get these checks. They had a proper game plan, a proper structure around the WNBA, how they're going to market it, how they're going to plan everything out as far as the season, the playoffs, to make sure they're getting the best revenue. This wouldn't be a problem. But I think they just throw it out there. They just wanted to have a women's league in the United States, and I don't think they're doing it the right way.
They've been in business. They just celebrated 25 years.
You can have 25 years, but you still got, I don't want to call them disgruntled employees, but employees that are upset because of the pay, which these players are obviously upset because of the pay. That's what they keep on overseas.
And I got to address this as well. The WNBA typically is very vocal on controversial issues. That factors in the sponsorships. If you're going to be a league, well, y'all don't we ain't gonna go down the Kyrie path. But
I'm saying good for them.
I agree, but there's a price to pay.
Some of these NBA players.
Mm-hmm. There is a price to pay when you take those stances. And so we got to understand it's business, it's economics, and when you're talking sponsorships, these big brands that's going to give you the big money that allow you to have these big contracts, they might not want to associate with the openness that they have. Like, that's just reality. And so I get it.
They're going to be forced to soon.
I mean, we'll see. But I think up to this point, we haven't seen that. And
Man, you better hop on the WNBA bandwagon now, because the way these girls are coming out and starting to become like true hoopers and showing that they're passionate and love for the game.
Very skilled.
You know what I mean? That's all you really got to show. And then, like I said, if a big sponsor don't want to take them, like Chris said, that's fine. Take the sponsors that's willing to take you, because when you blow up, them sponsors are going to blow up with you. The ones that ride with you to the end, that's the ones that's going to get paid at the end.
Smaller sponsors don't have deeper pockets. So that's what they're doing. I think there are smaller sponsors.
But I think, but if you don't have to necessarily have the 3 big, you could get 10 little. And
that's going to add up to 1 big.
So if I got 10 little, and I have limited product placement, because it's not going to be on the biggest TV station at the prime time hour.
But then you got to look at all these different streaming platforms. Like if the WNBA East team had their own, everybody on their phones on YouTube. You post on YouTube. You post on all these different
WNBA pass that, like the NBA pass.
You have all these different streaming platforms
on ESPN and ABC.
Exactly.
Like
you take advantage of all these different streaming platforms, the Facebooks, the Twitter.
Y'all know that's not how that works. ESPN is not going to let you, if they're paying to play your games, I don't also want you playing games on another platform.
The big three is on CBS. They're streamed on YouTube and they're streamed on that.
They can dictate that because the people demand it.
But I'm saying the point is that you can do that if you structure the deal that way. So that's not.
But you have to have the leverage, is my point, and I don't believe they have that leverage.
But I don't think that the big three ain't doing no big numbers like that.
Yeah, I don't see ESPN saying, "Oh, you want to post on here, but we're not going to show your game." I don't see the NBA network saying, "Oh, we're not going to show your
game."
We disagree. Them joints be lit when I watch.
No, they be lit. I've been to Big Three games. They be lit, but I'm with. It's not like I say.
But you.
Honestly, I like that Tracy McGrady league better than the Big Three league right now.
The one-on-one joint crazy.
That OBL league, that
one-on-one joint is crazy.
That league is a little bit. That league is a 10.
No, it's
that's the point. And guess what? Because people like it and they will tune in, the sponsorship numbers are gonna keep going up. And for what it's worth, the Big Three was offering like ownership of some of the teams. Like they sent an email. It was an interesting concept, but that's why they got a bunch of patches. And it's half court. This one is a couple times. You don't have to have a 80 game season. The money doesn't need to be stretched as much. It's different. And so
the WNBA season not that long. It ain't all year like the NBA. It's only a few months. That's why they have time to go overseas.
They play 56 games.
June to September.
No.
They maybe play 40 games. Let me check.
So again, then that also, if you're playing half as much time, even if you try to clear it, how much? What'd you say?
36 regular season games.
Yeah.
So 36.
The playoff series are like 3 and 5.
So that's going to factor into your money. Like I don't know what y'all are missing.
I don't think that we're asking them to break the bank here. I don't think we're just asking them to.
So who's paying this?
I'm saying my thing is I think you should be able to pay. You should be able to pay more than a handful of players 6 figures. Like that should be the standard for the majority of the players in the league. I think if that was a standard for the majority of the players in the league, then they wouldn't have to go overseas. And I don't think that's that big of an ask. When you're on network television every day, every game is on network television. You got the streaming platform. I don't think that's too much of an ask.
So who's paying it?
That's what I'm saying. I think you can get the revenue savings between the network deals, between sponsorship, to be able and advertising to be able to afford to pay 6-figure salaries. I don't think it's that big of an ask.
So then you're saying the money is there and they're just not paying.
Yeah, and I think that's also on the. And I'm putting this also the onus on the WNBA.
The CBA is also on their CBA. You know,
they're
also
going to have to negotiate that into their next CBA.
So then that falls on the players then.
I'm saying it's a two-way street. They're going to have to, the same way they're taking a stand on political issues, they're going to have to take a stand on their salary issues to get what they need.
And you think if they do that, there's going to be a league to come back to?
You think that they're afraid of losing their league? If they can play overseas, then you still have an alternative to play. So I don't think that's it. I think they don't want to play overseas. Is that they want to
stay home with their families.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume.
That we can agree on, but I don't get the argument. I think it's economics, and if the product drives certain numbers and money, then the money would be there. And that's not just for their sport. That's for pickleball. That's for women's tennis.
I mean, I'm saying that you got to try harder to find the money. If the money's not there, don't just say let that be the end all be all. Because we've been hearing this for years. And I haven't seen the WNBA do anything different for the years I've been hearing this lack of money that they have and the lack of money that the players are being paid. Try harder to find the money. I see the NBA doing all these different things, even those big companies, they're trying hard to get these sponsorships and get more money and generate more money and generate more money. Why do we never hear this about the WNBA ever? I never hear this about the WNBA. In fact, all I hear about is it getting worse. I get you where it's economics and they're not generating a lot of money. I heard that side of the argument, and you're right. But you can't tell me that you've been hearing the WNBA and the commissioners all there and trying their hardest to get the more money generated for them, the owners and the players, because I've yet to hear that.
I disagree. I think the WNBA is more popular today than I think it's ever been. I think their popularity is an all-time high.
Popularity can be an all-time high, but how hard are you trying to get more money? Look, you're saying it's the popularity is at an all-time high, but the more I keep hearing about the pay being worse at the all-time high. So as more is getting popular, the more terrible I'm hearing about this pay. It's not adding up. If it's getting more popular, then money should be. It should be more money if the league's more popular.
Not if you add more teams, and not if you're upgrading because the Washington facility is dope.
Shouldn't more teams generate more money?
Out of Vegas, they only had one team.
They have to spread. That's more. Then that has to get spread out more.
I understand, but I'm just saying you only added one more team, so that's what 12 more players.
And
since when?
When are you talking?
Vegas was the last team that got added. You said you added more teams. There's only been one more team.
I'm saying since its inception.
Matter of fact, hold up. That team wasn't even added. They just moved from San Antonio.
I'm talking about since its inception. This league size has grown since its inception.
Every league size has grown. That's what's supposed to happen. But if the league size has grown, shouldn't more money be made? I feel like that goes hand in hand.
You're not growing the team. You're not growing in terms of teams if you're not making money to be able to pay those salaries.
And that means you're growing in terms of
players. And they are able to pay the salary. They're able to pay a certain salary. Now, if they cut the league in half, those teams left would get a lot more money. But
no, I think that there's more money that they could pay.
And if you cut those teams in half,
if you think that you saying if y'all think the money's there and they're just not spending it, then that's on y'all. I don't think
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're not trying hard enough to get more money. That's my stand. That's what I've been saying for years.
Everybody wins if they get more money. So why wouldn't they try to get more money?
Because you just said, just like business, if I can make more money and pay less money, that's what I'm going to do.
Yes, I agree. But even under that premise, if the money's going up and it's collectively bargaining the percentage, they would still get the percent.
Yeah, they would if it's collectively
bargained. So if I'm an owner, I would still want, as my money goes up, I'm gonna pay y'all a
but you're going to get more, right? I'm understanding you, but what I'm saying is every day you hear about these big time leagues making big time deals. I searched a long time to see what the deals WNBA is making, their profits, their revenue. How are they going to improve? How are they improving as a league? And I've yet to find any concrete evidence that's telling me they're trying as hard as these other professional leagues to get more money, not only for themselves, but their players. I have yet to see it. And if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. Show me some statements where they're signing these sponsorship deals, where players are going to be able to get more money long term. I've yet to see that. And that's my thing. I'm with you. It's economics, product, and all that stuff. They got all that, they're not going to get more money if they don't put their best foot forward.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm everywhere, my man.
Yeah.
I don't think I just don't see it that way. And so finally, because we spent way more time than I thought we would on this, which is fine. Is the same way we talk about if it was us over there, we wouldn't even get President Biden wouldn't even call our family. Sorry, Brittany Griner ain't LeBron. Brittany Griner ain't Tom. Brittany Griner hasn't probably been I can actually speak definitively. I'm sure she hasn't been in the same rooms as them. We just watched Michael Rubin's party and all them people that was there.
Hold on now. Yes, they won championships.
USA team.
She played for the Olympic team, so she has some notoriety.
You want to try, and that's why she's getting what she get. There are, quiet as kept. Her letter said there are other prisoners over there. Ain't nobody talking about all them other prisoners that she's trying to get freed. It ain't just her. She's being focused on because of what y'all just said. But don't compare her to LeBron and a billionaire guy don't do that.
But I think this apples and oranges because there would be no reason for LeBron to have to go over there to get money.
Exactly.
So
it's the same thing when LiAngelo Ball was in China. It's the same thing. Like if you a certain status and he wasn't that big, I would argue Brittany Griner is a bigger star than he is. But
oh yeah, I would agree with that.
Brittany Griner is the bigger star than LiAngelo Ball.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, the Ball brothers was the hottest.
Yeah, at that time, when
he still was. Let's not get it twisted.
No, I'm with you, but you gotta understand this was everything that's attached to it. LiAngelo Ball, UCLA, NCAA. So the ladder only got up. So his name, all that stuff was hot because it's from UCLA and their brand to the NCAA and their brand. So his name was attached to some hot things.
And I didn't say he was us. Brothers. I said I don't think he's her. That was my statement. So if y'all want to argue that, y'all can. But certain people got it done. And again, we ain't gonna turn this into a political conversation. But we've named a couple people that somehow managed to get back when there was different people running things. So I think we'd be remiss to ignore that part of it too.
No, the pressure's on. So they're gonna have to do something.
But it ain't. Like, I don't think I don't need to go there. We can move on. So I hope that this gets fixed. And Kenny, this is the part. Like I said, I don't want to say that, but if I'm him, and that's what's on the table, the terrorist for her, you might gotta sit down. Like politically, is a safety to our country, especially with all the issues we got with gun violence and terrorism. I don't think that that's going to look good politically. Y'all understand an election cycle's coming up. I don't know if you want your name attached to that when your party is already struggling. Like that's a gold mine for your opposition. You care about gun rights and you trying to restrict gun laws and you're going to release an arms dealer for like it get tricky. Yeah. So we'll see kind of how this plays out. Again, it is still unfortunate. I know my opinion wasn't maybe as ideal, but I do understand and sympathize with the situation. Like she hadn't spoke to her spouse since. Like that's crazy. Like I could just that'd be tough. And I imagine I mean, I've seen her. She doesn't look awful, but I imagine life isn't sweet. I think it's like they said it's like a 4-hour ride to and from the place like that. That ain't ideal. So definitely thoughts and prayers to her. Hopefully it does get fixed sooner than later. But unfortunate, and to others, you got to move different. Like all money ain't good money, and all money ain't worth it. So I think there's
I don't see her going back overseas. You know what I mean?
I hope others. I hope nobody go. A bunch of people already pulled out. Like businesses were pulling out of Russia. So I don't know what legally option she had, maybe due to contractual agreements, but somebody should have advised her this ain't the time to be over there.
Yeah, and I hope that, to your point, I hope that they, other players now decide not to go over there and play so that they can feel the economic impact of this decision.
Agreed. Because I know there's like athletes that's playing in America that have had issues with their finances if they've been attached to the Kremlin and their international soccer players and stuff. So it's unfortunate, and hopefully it'll be figured out soon. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to another person that I don't think he is as great as people think he is. We've had some good discussions. And as it stands, we're almost done with week 2 of free agency, and DeAndre Ayton is still just flowing in the wind. This top tier, game changing, life changing generational talent.
James Harden, but we'll move. That's for later on. But go ahead.
Oh, hey, Chris, you hear that, Chris, man? Buddy,
who's shooting shots?
You ain't hear what Kenny just said? Just like James Harden.
I know what's going on with James Harden. Like ain't nothing to worry about with James Harden. You just saw the video of him, Sam Cassell, and Tyrese Maxey working out. We cool over here. Trust me. My number 2. We're not even gonna get into that. We can say that.
I am talking about DeAndre Ayton. For those of you who have been with us for a while, y'all know exactly how I feel. About his
you boy is smiling in the inside.
Yeah, he's so happy to talk about this.
Cheesing in the inside. Yeah, my Racinomus is coming out strong.
Listen, I just say what I see. That's all I do. I say what I see. And I just appreciate when I'm validated when his own team has shown no effort to want him. No, we've seen what the kind of trades that are going on.
The Sixers are doing the same thing with Harden now. You're gonna say that?
That's the complete opposite because we've been talking to Harden, and Harden deal is a matter of does he want a 2-on-1 or a 1-on-1?
How do we know that the Suns have not talked with DeAndre?
That was Ray words, not mine.
Right.
Listen,
I'm just
we
saying.
know that. So we know they didn't offer him the max. Can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm. Right. That's why this is still going on. But continue.
So that's my point. He's not that to them, and he is delusional and thinks he is. So he's sitting. His value is not what the Suns have deemed worth. I can't imagine nobody sent them a trade request.
18-9 guy does it. Not looking for big money. What a shot.
Okay, you can look for it. You can look for it. Seek and he shall find is what they say. That's what they say. But he ain't found it yet, which is to me indicative of his status around the league and with his own team. I've yet to hear anybody come out and say, pay that man. What I ain't seen Devin Booker speak on this man. I don't see Chris Paul saying we need to bring him back. He's an integral part. I ain't heard nobody say nothing. It's just silence. You wouldn't even know DeAndre Ayton was a free agent if you're watching the news because they don't even care about it.
And KD spoke up for Kyrie for the Nets to re-sign him, right?
There wasn't a re-signing. He opted back in.
I'm just saying to sign a long-term deal. Don't try to parse words. It's the same thing.
Let's not act like Kevin Durant. There weren't reports, and this just said Kevin Durant is waiting to see how they treat Kyrie, and that was going to dictate his behavior. We all believe that Kevin Durant doesn't request a trade if they max Kyrie. He did speak up.
He did not say anything about him saying that they should sign him to a long-term deal. He did not.
If they signed him to a long-term deal, do you believe Kevin Durant requests a trade?
That's not the point. You said
that's exactly the point.
No, because Kevin Durant never came out and said sign my boy long term.
You saying that Chris Paul and Devin Booker didn't speak up to tell for the Suns to pay
him. Anthony.
And I just said
he got exposed in the second round, Anthony.
Exposed.
It's not the same. If it would be easy to say if Devin Booker was like, yo, we're monitoring the situation, and if we believe they should bring him back.
That don't even sound like something the player says, though. We're monitoring the situation. Listen, he's either gonna come out and say pay him out. He's gonna come out and say pay my boy. He ain't gonna say nothing because it's not his business.
Thank you.
It is his business. If he thinks that, if he believes that he's going to help him win, why wouldn't he try and campaign to bring him back?
Can I talk now, Ray? Ray, can I talk now? Can I butt into this? Because you're just going to hate. You're just going to hate on DeAndre Ayton.
I'm not hating.
The reason why he's not saying. Well, the reason why the Suns aren't saying anything because right now they're on Kevin Durant's wish list, so they're going to wish to sign DeAndre Ayton where they can get Kevin Durant. The reason why Ayton has not been signed or he has not been traded is because everybody's waiting to see what's going on with Kevin Durant. Like it's obvious. They're trying to figure out what the asking price is for Kevin Durant. If they can land Kevin Durant, what do it? They have to trade for Kevin Durant. That's why DeAndre Ayton has not been signed to the Suns, because they think they have a chance of getting DeAndre Ayton. That's why a lot of teams haven't traded for DeAndre Ayton, because they believe they can get him. Now, this where things will get tricky. If a team offers DeAndre Ayton the max, right, like a Pacers or the Pistons, and they don't sign him, bye Kevin Durant. So that's what I'm curious to see, if a team's just going to try to snatch him and try to force the Suns' hand. That's what I'm curious to see. But am I like, oh my God, he hasn't been traded, his value is going down? No, because Kevin Durant's quote unquote this top 5 player, and he's yet to been traded since he asked for a trade. So,
and he shouldn't.
You know,
I wouldn't trade him at all.
Okay. You want to? I'm done. Anybody else want to take the floor? You're right. I want to trade him neither, but you saying, oh my God, he's not getting traded, that means nobody wants him. What's the difference? Nobody trading for Kevin Durant.
I watched a whole bunch of trades. I watched a whole bunch of people get signed, but for some reason,
you watched a whole bunch. It hasn't been a whole bunch of trades. This free agency has been very, very quiet. You saw role players get signed. You saw a couple guys re-up on their maxes, which you're right. All those guys deserved it. Right.
All those teams gave those players maxes.
All those guys were if I'm not mistaken, everybody got the max as the number one guy featured on their offense on their team. That's why they got the max. DeAndre Ayton is the third.
Zach LaVine's not the number one guy.
Okay, Zach LaVine's not the number one guy. Is he 1B? He's not number 3 like DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is the third.
I just said he's not 1. I just said he's not 1.
But he's 1A. He's an all-star. He's 1B.
He's 2.
He's 1B.
Depends on your perspective.
Exactly.
I'm sure
he's 1B.
Zach
I was going to say, because now do you count who's your 1 and 1A and who's your 1 and 2 in Minnesota now? Is Ant-Man your number 1, or is Karl Anthony Towns your number 1?
Yeah, it depends on your perspective.
Okay, that's where. Okay, that's when.
That's why I say it depends on your perspective.
Because Anthony Edwards is the best player on that team in the playoffs, by far.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. It's not even close.
By far, I think he might have been the most
by
consistent.
Far.
Don't act like
the most consistent and efficient.
Don't act like Cat was a no-show. There's a reason they were on.
It was some games that Cat didn't show up.
For the third,
I said Edwards is more consistent, but don't act like Karl Anthony Towns is trash. We're not gonna do that.
My downfall with the Cat is he look at the ref too much. He whines too much. If he gets in foul trouble too much. You know what I mean?
That's why he's happy that Gobert is there now. He can.
Oh yeah,
threes
because he ain't going down in the post no more.
Oh no, he's he's not with that. But back to DeAndre,
and that's a mistake. That is a mistake.
And I agree, and that's something I can finally agree on you with. But back to DeAndre, I honestly think a lot of things are getting stalled right now because people want to know what's going to happen with Kevin Durant. Once that domino falls, you're going to see all these other deals be made. We haven't seen no big deal be made since he requested for a trade. You just see little role players getting signed here and there, little contracts being signed.
What bigger name than Ayton is still waiting outside of Harden, which I think we all know is going to happen. Who else is waiting?
Ayton is the biggest name, but like I said, nothing's happening.
How come everybody else got deals?
Because
there weren't a whole exactly, and there weren't a whole bunch of players being left
because they were better.
Because if KD go to the Suns, they're gonna look for Ayton to a sign and trade deal so they can send Ayton to Brooklyn.
DeAndre Ayton doesn't owe them. DeAndre Ayton can sign a deal today. He don't need to wait for a sign and trade. It's not restricted. He's unrestricted.
But no team. Every team in the NBA believes they got the right package for Kevin Durant. Every team in the NBA feel like they have
it. He's restricted free agent. They have a chance to match the Suns have a chance to match the offer sheet. So the Pacers signed him the max. The Suns have a chance to offer that. He's restricted. Yes.
Okay. So I stand corrected.
So
he would have been left.
Can we move on?
We can move on. If y'all like, I don't like talking about bums anyway. Y'all want
he better than any big man on your team.
So basically, you understand it now that the business is the reason why DeAndre Ayton hasn't been signed yet. Let's move.
It has nothing to do with skill.
We disagree.
Okay, wait. So you mean to tell me that Thomas Bryant? You mean to tell me that Damon Jones? You mean to tell me that JaVale McGee, Andre Drummond, DeAndre Jordan, all these players are better than DeAndre Ayton?
No, but I don't think there's.
But why did they get signed, right?
They took lesser deals, and if he took a lesser deal, he would be.
They took lesser.
Man, Nurkic got a 4-year, $70 million.
Right. So where's that offer for Ayton?
With his team,
because he can't get an offer nowhere else other than the Suns.
That's not true. That's not how free agency works.
Anyone that has to, because he's restricted, anybody that places an offer with him, the Suns have a right to match.
Exactly.
So again, it's the business.
So if you want him, pay him.
But people are trying to get Kevin Durant. I don't think you're understanding that these teams are trying to get Kevin Durant.
And again, you're tying up your cap.
I don't think you're understanding
Once you put
that.
offer out there, you're tying up your cap. So you have to structure that offer in a way that you know that you're going to get them. Like, it's all business, man.
Y'all all those centers I just named. All those centers I just named, no offense, but they're scrubs compared to DeAndre Ayton and what he's worth at 23 years old versus all these guys at 29 and 30 on the back end of their career. They already got their payday. He's getting his payday.
They were smart enough to know what they were actually worth,
and they're all backups. Let me other than Nurkic, all the guys I named were backups. All these centers that's been signing these quick deals, or Mitchell Robinson. No offense,
that he's coming in to be the starter.
Like I said, I think Mitchell Robinson might be the starter in New York.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson starter for 4 years, $60 million. You mean to tell Kenny, who you taking? DeAndre Ayton? Who you taking? DeAndre Ayton or Mitchell Robinson?
That's my point. That you talking about $15 million and $17 million for these
nothing
two guys.
Compared to a guy that's trying to get 20, 30. Exactly.
Okay, and so you will wait. Because you're overvaluing.
That's fine. We're in July. Wait. We're in July. We're not in October, November. We're in July.
All I'm saying is, if he was who y'all say he is, I think somebody would offer him some money, and they haven't. That's it. That's all I said. I didn't say he's trash. I said he's not worth. If Kevin Durant is this, top 5 player, why aren't teams jumping the gun to make their trade? Why aren't the Celtics saying Jaylen Brown? They are.
Marcus Smart.
And if James Harden
is offered Jaylen Brown,
on the Sixers, why haven't they already signed him?
The difference
when we get to that, Kenny, I answer that when we get to that, Kenny. Don't worry. I answer that. I'm with you though. But I really have an answer for that. But
I didn't hear
why isn't James Harden deal done yet? Now I have an answer for that, Kenny. So don't worry. But I'm with you. Like, you can't say something about one player and not. Why isn't Kyrie being traded yet? Why is it different? Because it's business in his markets. It's not it's not names on paper.
We know why Kyrie hasn't been traded, because his deal is there's only so many people you can trade him for at that money. So it's a completely different situation where it's limited.
Is that not teams and deals and markets, or is this not all?
Yes, it's value. It's value.
So DeAndre Ayton is not waiting to get the right proper value. The Suns are waiting to get the right proper value.
The Suns could care less. I don't think the Suns are even shopping DeAndre Ayton. I think the Suns are focused.
You think they're going to let him walk? You think they're going to let him walk for nothing?
Yes.
Okay, let's move.
At this, like I said, at this point,
they're going to let the number one pick. So hold on, let me make sure I'm understanding.
He's averaging 17 and 9 without any real offensive touches.
Let's make sure that you're clear. That we're clear what you're saying. But they're going to let a number one pick who averaged 18 and 9 this past season walk out the door for nothing. Is that what you're saying?
If somebody offered him a max deal,
answer the question.
It's a yes or no question, right?
That's a simple question.
That is a question. Kenny, that's the answer. If somebody offered him enough money, they are going to let him walk for nothing. That's what restricted free agency is. If they offer sheet and they don't match it, they don't get nothing.
They could do a sign and trade. You don't think they're going to try to get a sign and trade? Just let them go for nothing.
They could try, but if I'm the other team, I have no incentive to sign and trade. Why would I do that? Why would I give up assets to get somebody I already got?
The same way with LeBron James.
He's LeBron James.
But I'm
trying to mention
get some type of value for LeBron James. You value that asset that you're going to get some type of value for him. You're not telling me that the Suns don't value him in some way that they're not going to try to get some value for him.
You keep saying they don't value him. They let him walk. I promise you, they're a playing C or they're a first round exit. And you can book me saying that July 7th. You can book me right now. You can book me right now.
They will be better than
right now.
But
I can tell you they're not.
Is DeAndre Ayton a max player? Yes or no?
Is he a max player in today's standard? Yeah.
So then somebody should have offered him the max. correct? That's what you're saying.
Necessarily not if there's other pieces.
If he's a max player, you offer him the max.
If you think
if you're trying to get Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
One, you're trying to get Kevin Durant. Two, how many teams have enough money and need a center? You gotta look at all the pieces to the puzzle.
So then that speaks to his value. And there ain't more, the salary cap ain't going up while he's waiting. As more and more people get signed, the money's gonna get even tighter. He gonna fool around and end up Baker Mayfield.
Nah, nobody could be.
Where your options dry up and you just gotta take what you can get.
Let's move on.
He gonna get his money. Best believe that.
So y'all are on record. He's gonna get max money. Y'all are on record.
He's gonna get more than all these other centers are getting paid outside of no.
I believe. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead on the stand. I'm gonna say yes. If Nurkic can get a 4 year $70 million, I believe that Ayton can get something like that. Also,
at least 20.
He getting at least 25 million a year.
In Portland, so Dame Lillard said, "Yo, I want Kevin." He's been very clear.
First of all, it's been reported that Dame hasn't had no contact. I just read an article. Dame has had no contact with the owners. They're not answering his calls or emails. So let's just we can't say nothing with Dame and them owners.
And ain't nobody talking to KD.
Nope.
So yeah, I understand. Do we believe, and we've seen Dame Lillard has shown he would want KD, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Portland still shelled out a bunch of money that could prohibit them from getting him, correct?
Or they can use it as a
yes or no. This is yes or no.
That isn't, no, they can use that
they
money.
Still paid a center that could potentially hurt their ability to go get Kevin Durant with their best player.
You just add them onto the deal and trade them.
That's not true.
Okay. My point is, when you want to pay somebody that you want to pay, you pay him, and you don't wait for Kevin Durant. They decided this is our center. We don't want to lose him, so we're gonna pay him.
So you're not going to wait.
But he's unrestricted though. So you're not worried if he's unrestricted. DeAndre Ayton's restricted. Because DeAndre was unrestricted to be easier.
You can hang in here and keep riding for Ayton, and that's fine.
You're making it sound like he's not a top 7, top 6 player at this position. Like you're making it sound like anybody on your team is even remotely close to how good he is. I'm confused.
I'm not. I'm saying he's not. I said he's not.
I'm really like you talking about him like.
Tell me how you really feel, Chris.
Like DeAndre Ayton last year averaged 17 and 10 without being a top 2 option on his team. And if he gets 15, 16 shots, he's averaging 23 and 12. What is eyes for?
And that sounds like somebody should be beating down his door to offer max money, and they're not. That's what I'm saying.
Like you said, though, it's the second week of July. How do we not
every other big name got
big
paid.
name number 1 option?
All of them are unrestricted that you're talking about.
Typically, big name players go early, and he's still sitting.
Yeah, wait, because I remember Chris Paul coming out and saying last year that he wanted to get him paid. So I remember his teammates coming out saying they want to get him paid.
Is that the name you going with the whole show, Kenny?
Right, because it's the same thing, but he's acting like that's no big deal.
What I missed it. What's the name?
James Harden
is sitting out there and not near an offer, but it ain't no big deal there.
Hey, I believe
why?
Because I think people know James Harden ain't going nowhere, so they're not wasting their time. Is my thought. I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody thinks James Harden opted out of $47 million to test the free agent market. I don't think he did that. I think there was an understanding. Hey, I'm gonna give you all a discount.
Opted right in.
If that's the case, then I could say that I don't think that DeAndre Ayton is going nowhere. He's just playing a game of chicken with the Suns. So why am I going to make an offer to him?
That might be true. That might be true. But I also see James Harden is meeting with ownership, and they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and he seems perfectly content. I don't see that coming out of Phoenix. So
because Phoenix is
we can see
Kevin Durant. Like why? Like what are
we? Okay, so we can move on. I said we can move on like 5 minutes ago. Y'all can keep y'all capes on for this man, and we'll wait and see what happens. And he'll go somewhere and become a nobody.
I bet you he'd be all-star in Washington. I bet you he'd be the second option. I bet you he's the second. Oh, he definitely would be all-star with Jared Allen.
He is not the second option in Washington. He might be third or fourth.
After Bradley Beal, who else?
Kuzma.
Next.
And after that, then it's a toss-up between him and Porzingis.
Okay. A guy who can't stay healthy. I'm ready to move on now.
Okay, you can say what you want. The man ain't that good. That's all I've been saying. I ain't say it was trash. He just ain't that good.
18-9, but he ain't that good. Let's move.
He ain't that good. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. I don't care what numbers y'all throw at me. I know what I see. Never mind. So we had a trade, and similar to Minnesota, where they traded for the same similar position. Atlanta acquired DeJounte Murray when they have Trae Young. So my question to you guys is, who do you believe will have the ball in their hands the most? Is this a team still built around Trae, or would this team start to morph into a team where Murray has the ball in his hand, which we saw last year was good for him? Spurs weren't good enough. But whose team is this in Atlanta? I'll start with you, Dev.
It's still Trae Young team. It's still, but I think it opens it up Trae Young a little bit more now. It kind of give him that Steph Curry role a little bit. You can't double and triple team blitz him when he cross half court now. Now you have another guard out there that can open up the floor for Trae Young. And now the offense I believe Atlanta should try to run is see if you can find Trae Young. Let him roam around like Steph. Let him go through pick screens and stuff like that and get open. So I think it would help out the Hawks a little bit more to have another floor general out there.
So you think Murray will have the ball in his hands more, but it's still Trae's team?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yeah, I agree. I think this move was done to get Trae to play more off the ball. I think it's going to free him up to be more aggressive offensively and take away some of his needing to be more his playmaking duties and his ball handling duties. I think they're going to share the ball handling duties, but I think he's going to play more off the ball. He's going to have more opportunities to Devin's point, to come off of screens, to come off of pin downs and things of that nature, to get him going offensively. And then also defensively, you can put Murray on the bigger guard and also kind of alleviate some of the pressure on him defensively that he has. They could kind of hide him the way Golden State hides Steph to a degree. So I think that's part of it as well, that they're going to that this was done to alleviate some of the responsibility on Trae Young. While I would still say that he's going to be the number one option going in. I just think that his playmaking duties, he won't have to do as much.
Fair enough. Chris?
I think we're all in agreement. The Hawks needed this because, we talk about how good, a lot of people talk about how good Trae Young is and where they rank him as their, top 10 player, top 5 point guard. You look at his numbers in the regular season, and they're beautiful. You look at him in the playoffs, and he might put up those same numbers, but his efficiency is trash. And I really don't like players that take, 25 shots to score 22 points. And I look at what happened against the Heat. The man averaged about 6 turnovers a game. Why? Because he's the only person on their team that can really do anything with the ball. He needs help, not only scoring-wise, but playmaking-wise. So what DeJounte Murray is going to bring outside of the tremendous he should be first all-team defense, one of the best defenders at his position. Outside of the defense, on the offensive side, he's taking the ball out of Trae Young's hand. He can get you 20 points. He can help with the playmaking side. So now Trae Young, like Kenny, like Dev said, isn't getting a blitz, isn't getting a double team. I think this is really going to show his head in the playoffs. We're really going to see a better side. Oh, I didn't say he's my I'll list that when Dev's done. I mean, not Dev, when Ray says his 2 cents. I'll put together a list. But I think it's still Trae Young's team by far. But DeJounte Murray, to me, is the second best player on the team. And he's going to come in and he's going to show his worth. Like, he just might, average double-digit assists. And Trae Young, I think he's going to have a career high in points. I think it's his time to shine and let that Trae ball fly.
All right, so we're at it again.
Oh, it come different.
You about to tell me it's this man's team and he hasn't been to the playoffs?
It comes different.
You about to tell me it's his team and he ain't been to the playoffs? That's what you about to tell me.
So today, it is Trae Young's team. I don't think there's any question. Today is Trae Young's team. I believe throughout this season and over the length of this deal, that team is going to shift to DeJounte Murray because I think he's the better player. I think he's the more efficient player. I think his ceiling's higher. I think he's more versatile because he plays both ends of the court, to what you talked about. I think Atlanta is going to grow to love him more than Trey, mainly because I think he will have the ball in his hand more. I think Trey will be, y'all compared him to Steph. I think he'll be more Clay. I think it'll be more Clay than Steph in his new role because he shows he turns the ball over way too much. He's super turnover happy, and yeah, he'll average I think like 10 assists last year.
But do you think that's because he's the only player that can make a actual pass?
Make all the decisions, yeah.
And I'm not like giving him. I'm not giving him an excuse for that. I'm with you. That's way too many turnovers.
But that's my point. That's why you average 10 assists. I give you the 10 assists. Mm-hmm. But there's also high turnover, and they're not all good turnovers, and he's not an efficient scorer to me. Like, he can get hot and he can go off. But at the end of the game, throughout the game, I would rather have the ball in DeJounte Murray because you talk about.
But I think that's going to help his efficiency.
You talk about what Trey didn't. You talk about what Trey didn't have in Atlanta. Let's not act like there was a ton of playmakers in San Antonio either. So the ball was still in DeJounte Murray's hands a lot, and he was better with it, with lesser talent, in my opinion. Well, I think it's clear he had lesser talent, which is why they traded him. So yes, today I think it is Trae Young's team, but I think the better player, and I don't know his marketability yet because he doesn't speak a lot, but I think that city and that culture is going to embrace him a lot.
You don't think they embrace them as a duo now instead of looking at it as a.
I think it's going to be a CJ situation.
It's not going to be him trying to get Trey out of there. But I think you'll start to see a whole lot more DeJounte Murray jerseys in the stands, and you'll see less Trae Young jerseys, I guess is what I'm saying. I think Trae is going to still be Trae.
Yeah, I don't think so because I don't think the reason why. Okay, Rick. I'm sorry.
No, I just think the talent is going to rise to the top. And if he's the one maybe taking the shots and hitting them late in games, which he's shown he can do, that starts to sway the fans. Go ahead, Kenny.
No, I was going to say that with the reason why I don't think that Trey's going to lose his popularity is because of that Trey ball, that three ball. Like, everybody loves that three ball. That's the momentum shifter. So he's going to have even more opportunities and more open looks. So I think he's going to be knocking them down even more so. And I think that's going to continue to cause his popularity to be high because that's an exciting play. That gets the crowd going.
Yeah, because Devontae Murray can most definitely get inside that lane with ease.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? And kick it out.
I think for me, I see it as what I saw here in DC. John Wall got drafted first. We love John Wall. Bradley Beal came and it wasn't the same. We like Bradley Beal, but it wasn't the same. I think it
took a while because Bradley Beal hurt a lot. It took a while for that, it took years. And I'm with you, Bradley Beal took over. And I don't mean to cut you off, Ray, but
I've been cutting you off all day with the school.
I really apologize for that. But
Good.
But I got family everywhere, and I had family that was Wizards fans, and they wasn't giving Bradley Beal until like John Wall's last full healthy year.
My point is, that's the point. DeJounte Murray is coming in as Bradley Beal fully healthy, the lead score leader, so to speak. So he's already coming with a certain level of cachet. And I believe once they start seeing them play together, and from what I appear to see out of him as a person, I just think he fits the culture better than Trae Young long term.
He definitely.
I think he elevates Trae Young.
I do.
They elevate each other.
Yeah, that too.
I agree. I do agree.
And then if they keep Collins there also, that'd be a good trio. A decent trio.
I can't judge until the playoffs. The playoffs is really going to tell me the dynamic of this duo. The regular season, everything could be peaches and cream. They go back and forth and all that stuff. When the playoffs, I think to Ray's point, I really think it's going to show is it going to be Murray's team or it's going to be Trae Young's team. Who's going to have the ball at their hands at the end? Is Trae Young going to be a spot up shooter? DeJounte Murray's going to have the ball in his hand trying to make something happen, or is it going to be vice versa? So that's what I'm curious to see.
I think early on, because I disagree. When it comes to whose team it is, I think we'll see early on who has the ball in their hand down the stretch. And if that person is successful, then I think it'll stay in their hand. Okay. But if that person, who I think will be Trae Young, it's his team right now, they're going to start off with him in the ball. But if he's not producing, it's going to come a game where they're going to run a play for somebody else. And that is somebody else going to be DeJounte Murray. And he fool around and capitalize. I think that changes the dynamic, but we'll see what happens. Another young man.
At least they got training camp together. They got all training camp to figure it out.
Yeah,
so that's a good start for them.
Anthony, that's exactly
what type of shot are we taking? I think it's a 3-point shot. It's not even a question. Like DeJounte Murray, he's not that good of a shooter. But if it's you're down 2, you need a bucket. Murray's gonna get to that lane. And he's gonna attack that basket, and that can ultimately get you to the free throw line. So that
I'm just going to say, how is his free throw percentage? Really?
79% last. So about a 70. He hasn't shot over 70% of his career, but it's been 79 for the past 3 years. What about?
Not bad.
But he's not getting to about 4 times. He's only. I mean, I think that not to go on a tangent, but when he tore his ACL, I thought that was going to be a year he was going to break off. But then it took him another year to get back. So the past 2 years, we've really been seeing how good DeJounte Murray is. Last year, he really took that jump. I think this year, working with Trae Young, his shot going to get better. And not saying this team going to do anything in the East because, my boys out there, but I think they're going to be a team to work with.
We can discuss that at a later date. Okay. I also think y'all talking about what he's going to do for Trae. I think he's going to see a different floor he hasn't seen either. His ability
for sure. I'm with you on that.
Like they're going to benefit from each other because those driving lanes are going to be a whole lot wider.
Yeah, that whole team.
You can't help off a Trae.
And it's more than just Trae. So Ray, I'm with you. That whole team, I feel like, is better than his team in San Antonio. So he's going to have. You got way more shooters than just Trae. You got, Hubert, Hunter, Collins, all them guys.
But they ain't got Huter no more. They ain't got Huter. They traded Huter to the Kings.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, they got millionaires. You got Bogdanovich.
Even when he attacks the basket, now he's capable of. There's a lob threat. So
exactly, you got 2 of them. Yep.
You got shooters, you got lob threats, you got a bunch. So I think they're positioned to be all right, and that's why, like I said, I think he'll flourish there. Another young man who came out hot out the gates, set the internet ablaze in his summer league performance. Things of legend, Chet Holmgren, followed it up the next night, and he played an NBA type body. And he looked different to me. And we talked about it in the group chat. And I think there might be a whole lot more last nights or game 2s than game 1s early on. People see the talent. I had other group chats talking about he's the new type of NBA player, the way Steph changed the league, this big guy that can handle and do all this stuff. And I hear all that. I don't see it. And I think I will be very curious to see what position he's playing when the season starts. Because if he's guarding 5,
playing 5, ain't no way.
That he gonna have a long night.
He's playing a 4.
He gonna have to play the 3. He ain't playing no. He ain't getting down in that paint, man. He is not getting down in that paint.
4 position now. That's not really. That's not.
A 4 is basically a taller 3. Now,
that's what I'm saying. You got guys more spacing out like that 4th position now than you have guys.
But it's some dogs at 4 that can.
Who was that guy that Memphis had the other night and bodied him down in the paint?
Kenny Lofton. I wish you'd have stayed another year. I think he would have got drafted. But I'm glad he's with Memphis though.
Yeah, he remind me of Zebo a little bit.
Just no, he's not like Zebo. So
he's not as tall, but he's a better passer. He got some vision. He threw some passes. He showed he got some range. I think he has a bright future there. So no, I like him, but
because there was Chris over there watching.
I'm watching them. So we talk about summer league, and right now I'm watching the Magic versus the Rockets. And they're guarding each other. Paolo and Jabari Smith are guarding each other.
What channel? Because I was trying to find it.
Yeah,
I'm I got the ESPN Plus app. ESPN.
Oh, okay.
It's on
ESPN. I think it's on ESPN 3 right now. Like when I look.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. Why you ain't tell nobody? You trying to keep all the good stuff?
Man, I was watching the Utah and Memphis summer league, but that just went off.
On ESPN, but they still got
the draft on.
NHL draft going
it's on ESPN 3.
Yeah.
Somebody got dunked on, somebody hit a 3, but they guard each other, and Jabari Smith switching on everything. Yeah,
Good.
but let's keep it on chat. Let's keep it on chat. I don't want to go off topic.
I mean that's kind of it. I guess we'll get what are y'all thoughts. I know we all kind of skipped over him a little bit when we talked about our draft coverage. Is he more game one, chat? You think you'll see more game one, chat?
I'll go first. Whoever this number 9 is trying to dunk on everybody.
They got it on ESPN the game right now.
Yeah, if you got the app, it's on. It's only 3-2.
Yeah, whoever this number 9 is though is just trying to dunk on everybody. But to check. I was not when the thing with Summer League is when somebody has a great game, oh my God, this, that, this, and that. When they have a bad game, they say, oh, well, it's just Summer League. But here's the thing with Chet, though. But I saw with game 1, and I don't know that could be his potential. But game 2, like you said, I feel like that's more reality right now. If Kenny Lofton Jr., there's no disrespect to Kenny Lofton Jr., is doing that to Chet, what do you think somebody's going to do that's that strong, if not stronger, and 7'1", 7'2"? He's using his body at a shorter height to create space. What do you think Joel Embiid is going to do? Because he's going to turn around. He's not going to lay it up. He's going to dunk on you. He's going to get you in foul trouble. Now, is Chet a very good shot blocker? Yes. Can he knock down the long ball? Yes. Is he, very, very skilled? Yes. And do I think he has to become the super buff guy to be successful in the NBA? No. But you cannot get bullied around like that at your position and expect to have a successful year because he's not going to play the 3 right now because you got Giddey and you got Lou Dort and you got SGA. So that's your 1-2-3 combo. So he's either 4 or the 5. And you're out west. So you're going to go against an Anthony Davis who's going to put you in a post. You're going to go against a Karl-Anthony Towns who's going to try to put you in a post. It's not going to be, super sweet, especially when you're looked at as your team rim protector. You're going to have to be in that paint. So he's going to have to add some muscle. I'm not saying he has to be 260, but he has to get to at least 200, 210, 15 pounds, be strong enough to where he's able to, to capitalize and be the most successful player that he has the ability to be. Do I think he's going to be a bust? Do I think that people should be worried right now? No, because I saw a lot of NBA players come in skinny and gain muscle. Look at Giannis. So do I think he's going to have trouble? No, because he played like this throughout his entire career. Do I think he's going to get, pinpointed and mismatched and exposed a little bit for being weak? Of course. And we all expected that. But we all knew he's a top 3 pick. And we all knew this dude can hoop. So I'm not going too high with the highs and too low with the lows. But he did get bullied. I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't want to make no excuse for that. He got bullied. But I want to be too
that man was beat by the end of that game.
Yeah, he got bullied. He got bullied for sure, but I wanted, if I'm an OKC fan, I wouldn't be too worried about this because you knew that was his weakness going into this, so you shouldn't be surprised, in my opinion. And if you know anything about Kenny Lofton Jr., he did this his entire college, and we played with Team USA career. So it's not like this is just a random scrub doing this. So I just want to put that out there as well.
If it was a random scrub, we'd be having a whole different conversation.
Exactly.
Kenny?
Yeah, I think he's going to have some ups and downs like Chris said, the physicality.
Sorry.
But I think ultimately he's going to be used as a stretch 4. I think that's what his skill set is going to be best utilized as. You can't play him as a 5 just because just physically he'll just struggle the entire year. So he's going to be used as a 4. I do like I do like his skills. I do think that they're going to, I'm not sure how well it's going to translate. I think his shot is a little slow in terms of his release. And I don't think he's the quickest guy in terms of creating space. So if he's going to be out there on the, playing that stretch 4, I think he's going to have to get a little, quicker, and speed up his release a little bit to be able to get his shot off and create the space that it needs to get the shot off. But 7-1 is 7-1. So I think even, once he gets to his spot, because of his length, he is going to be able to rise up and get his shot off. I just think that he's not going to be able to create as much space as he, has been able to do on the high school and on the college level. So I think he'll have his moments, but I think he will have his moments as well in terms of struggling with physicality, struggling with, the pace of the game, struggling with the schedule, the whole rookie wall and all that other stuff. I think he's going to have that, all of those things combined, but I think he's going to have his moments because, again, that's a bad team that he's going to. There's no expectations for them, so he's going to get plenty of times, plenty of chances to learn and plenty of chances to play. So I think he'll produce to a degree, but I don't think it's going to be highly efficient, and I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be jaw dropping.
Dev,
he's most definitely a project player. He's not going to pop out as much this year coming up, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a slow wind. He's going to be one of them guys, like Chris was saying. Once he build a nice mass on him, which is probably going to take another 2 to 3 years, I think that's where we're going to start seeing him flourish a little bit. What he did in Game 1 of Summer League, that's what we kind of expect because he played some of these guys in college a little bit. So, you know what I mean? You kind of know these guys already playing into the Summer League. And then to Chris' point, you let Kenny Lawton, he beat you. He dog beat you. And that's what most of these guys in the NBA is going to do. They're not going to sit there and try to go like, oh, he's young. We already know he's young. He's 7 foot. He got that youth on his side. But you go against Joel Embiid and somebody that knows how to get you in foul trouble, he's going to have a long season. Then if he's going to get pounded on all season, he's going to hit that rookie wall early because now you done went up against a lot of these big guys that know how to, physically wear you down. So I think he's going to have to take about 2-3 years to develop and get used to the NBA. I don't really see him popping out. I don't even really got him in the Rookie of the Year running this year. I don't. I think it's going to be a couple other players that it's not even on our radar. Mike can jump him over top him in the Rookie of the Year race.
So y'all know me. Keep it 100 always. I just seen this posted.
I
don't know if you can confirm it. It looks like 2K.
No, that's cap. That's cap.
That's not real?
That's cap.
Okay. So
who was it?
It said that Chet Holmgren's strength rating for 2K was stronger than LeBron's.
No, that's cap. I'm telling you right now, that's cap. I played 2K for that money. LeBron strength. That's cap. All those ratings you see right now for 2K is cap.
All right, so cool. That works. So here's my thing. I don't see Chet being a great off-the-ball player. I haven't seen that skill set from him for me. And Josh Giddey is a walking triple-double. So you want the ball in his hands. SGA is a star when healthy. You want the ball in his hands. I just don't know I know how he should fit, but I don't know if he's ready for what his role is going to be. Because in Summer League, he's getting the ball, he's getting to break people down. I don't know if he's going to really be able to do that once the season starts. And at his position, I don't see him. His biggest asset is his height. I don't see him with a great post game that I've seen so far. Mm-hmm. And so I don't really understand and see how he's going to integrate into the league. He has a lot of, to me, Kristaps Porzingis in him, and I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think that those play. It got Kristaps paid one time, but I think we all view that very different right now. And so where he's at, he's at best case the number 3, and really he might be number 4 because Lou Dort just got paid.
I would say, yeah, but you can't. Dort just got paid.
Averaged 17 and a half. And he's
a dog on defense.
Yeah, so like I said, I ain't got no high expectations.
Yeah, they're going to have to spread the wealth.
My expectations for Chet was coming into this, I thought he's getting put in a position where he doesn't have to be the number 1, which is going to help his process. Because if you're not looked to be so dominant, I don't think you're going to hit that rookie wall that quick, Dev, because you're not looked to be putting up 20 shots like some of these other, like Paolo.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do it on the offensive end. It's his defensive end that's going to make. That's why I say he's going to get that physical, hit that rookie wall physically, because he's going to have to play against he's going to have to play against Anthony Davis, like you said, a Joel Embiid, if they're going play switch because he's going to switch to the.
No,
but they're going to set the pick up for him to switch.
Yeah,
they get him down there.
There's going to be times she's going to be down there, but like on the offensive end, I'm like Ray, you asking where he's going to fit. I don't think he's being looked at right now as a guy to do all that. Because I look at Emma Gonzaga, and he was perfectly fine being a big man, a screener, roller, to picking and popping when he got the chances to do something with the ball in his hands. So honestly, don't think he's going to be looked at as a guy to put up 15, 16 shots. I think he's going to put up maybe 10 shots off lobs, putbacks, and some pick and pops.
And so for me, then I don't take him with the number 2 pick. If that's,
but that's for year one though. That's for you. That's not your entire career. It's for year one. Who else you taking with that number 3 pick? You don't need anything else. You got your 1, 2, and 3 set.
I think there were better bigs that would be better plug and play players. For me,
who else
player went right after him. I would have took him.
That's a small forward, bro. He's not a big. Stop calling him a big.
Yeah, he's a 3.
He's a 3.
I look at it as front court.
They needed a big man. They needed a 4 or a 5. They needed a 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, so this is a point. This is where then you can potentially offer DeAndre Ayton some money. I think he fits in that kind of system, and I draft someone different. I don't see the great Chet fit on offense or defense.
You're going to see it when SGA and when Josh Giddey get into that lane. He's going to be wide open.
That's going to open up the lane for the SGAs and the Giddys.
Exactly. You're going to see it. You're going to somebody number 2 to be a floor spacer.
But this is just okay. Jabari Smith right now is going to be used as a floor spacer.
I disagree.
Okay, why?
I think eventually
he's going to have to get his after Jalen,
after KPJ.
Yep.
He's 3rd right now.
Yep.
And you can argue he's 4th behind Sagan. So just like Holmgren is in it, yes, that's why they got rid of Christian Wood with no hesitation, because they knew Sagan was a 5 guy. So just like you can make that face, but we just talked about Lou Dort with his confidence, but Lou Dort isn't a primary scorer. Their number 1 to 2 options is going to be Giddey, and then it's going to be SGA. Just like
I think Dort will be a scoring option more than Giddey. I think Giddey will have the ball.
Okay, so listen,
they didn't give
Jalen Green
not be a scorer.
They want Jalen Green to put up 20 shots a game.
Yeah, Giddey's going to be the second option.
They want Giddey's going to have the ball in his hand, so he's going to get his without even trying to get his and still play make. The point we trying to make is outside of Paolo. Listen. Who's probably going to ball in his hands more? Jalen Green's going to be looked at to put up at least 20 shots a game. KPJ can average 20 and 10.
12 and a half last year.
Jabari,
and he had a good year. But he's not going to be the number 2 scorer on that team.
Jabari Smith is the 3rd option on that team.
Okay, that's fine.
And he's going to be looked at to shoot threes, not put the ball.
I think Pablo is going to be the only one that's going to have the ball in his hand out of the rookie class the most out of everybody, because majority of these top teams, these lottery teams had.
You see Apollo right now. I don't mean to cut you off, Dev, but it's showing right now in Summer League on how they play. Apollo's getting the ball and saying go to work, and Jabari Smith is setting screens and popping. And Apollo just hit a crossover step back 3. And Jabari Smith yet to get integrated in the offense, because if you watch him in college, he's not a guy that can get the ball, dribble, create his own shot. Because he can't get to the 3-point line to the paint without turning the ball over, dribbling off his foot.
I think Pablo is the only number 1 option out of that rookie class. You know what I mean?
Right now.
Everybody else is more of like a role or fit in the scheme type player.
For this second, not for your whole
these
career.
These are young guys, so you haven't seen the finished product on these guys yet. So
one game.
So we don't know. They may not be number 1 options right now, but we haven't seen them get to their full potential yet. So they could grow into that.
Yeah, they could grow off the sound like the way how they drafted now. Majority of them don't have to be the number 1, except for Pablo. Automatically right now they can kind of groom and find their way into the league. I think Pablo is the only one who's going to kind of have to be rushed a little bit, because Orlando don't really have a true number 1. Or somebody that can score consistently. So they're going to Pablo, you're going to have to go out here and throw out 25 shots a game, buddy. Hopefully you can get us even to a play-in or at least be relevant.
To be fair, though, It's not that, man. The Magic do have some guys.
They got a lot of guys averaging 15 to 16.
They got some young talent down there, but
it's gonna be a shot distribution going on. But I do agree with you that he's gonna be looked to be a 20+ point scorer for them. I agree with you there.
Well, he better get the ball out Jalen Suggs' hands, but okay.
You got Cole Anthony. You got Cole Anthony's down there too.
They got 7 guards. They got 7 guards.
They got like 10 guards down there. 10 guards and Mo Bamba.
All day long.
Isaac coming back, so they got a whole bunch of players.
Yeah, they got some good talent down there.
I see him being better than the Wizards.
What's up on that?
We can't once I see Jonathan Isaac up there.
Hey, Kenny, did you even see that hook coming out of anywhere, Kenny?
No hesitation.
Let me see.
Taking shots.
If Jonathan Isaac is healthy, we gonna put something on it.
Yeah, we
put some on
it. I did not see that coming, boy. That was Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, man. Whatever your offhand is, Chris. You quick with it, buddy. Whatever your offhands with, you is quick with it, boy. I did not see that one coming.
Man.
Paolo is hooping right now. I just want to put that out there.
I think I told you he should have been number 1. So
I'm glad we all agreed on that.
So real quick, because we still got a bunch to try and get to, and there's some good stuff in here. Real quick, can y'all rank the order of win-loss record and teams in California next year? We got the Kings, the Dubs, the Clippers, and the Lakers. Can y'all start with who had the best record, who will have the worst record? I will go first. I got Dubs, Clips, and as it stands, if they get Kyrie, I would change my mind.
No. Ain't no changing no mind. You pick your teams now. The roster they have now, that's who you roll with.
No. I'm not gonna hold it against you if they trade for Kyrie and you're wrong. We talking about today, like July 7th.
So
I'm not holding it
as it stands right now.
As it stands
today?
Yes.
It stands right now.
I think Sacramento will be better than LA as it stands today. You heard it here first.
I think it's past my bedtime, guys. He just hurt my feelings. He just hurt my feelings.
I'm gonna take this midnight shift now, man.
He just hurt my feelings.
I just wanted to get it out there early so we can keep it moving. Dev, go ahead. 3 or 4. Go ahead and lie.
Ray, I'm so disappointed in you, Ray. Like, I don't even want to give you my list no more, man. Matter of fact, you go ahead and lead it. You go ahead and lead the segment real quick. Let me talk to Kenny and Chris, man. You said, guys, Kenny, Chris, my teams are. Ray is not in this conversation. I'm picking the Lakers first. Say no, on the real Dubs. I'm gonna choose them first. Then it's going to be my Lakers. You think
the Lakers will be better than the Clippers? You really
healthy Clippers?
Yes. Well, yeah. Where Freddie at? Hey, Freddie, come on, Freddie, back me up, Freddie. Yeah, I'm gonna go on the ledge and said, you said the Kings gonna be better than my Lakers, so
yeah, that was great.
I think Sacramento's had a great offseason.
But I'm gonna go with the Dubs, Lakers, Clips. Kings is last. What was the other thing?
I said you got them all.
That was it. That was everybody.
Yeah, it's just 4.
All right. Yeah. So Dubs, Lakers, Clips, Kings.
Okay. Chris.
Kings. I'm just playing.
Do you know how the order works?
I'm ready to say I don't like. Matter of fact, I'm leaving off right now.
Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Sacramento.
Kenny?
Yeah, I'm the same. Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Sacramento.
Okay. We're going to see. So I know that we touched on this in the group chat real quick. I don't know if a penalty has been passed out yet, but by every definition, I would say the Knicks definitely tampered.
Come on, what y'all doing, Ken NY? Like, what y'all doing, Ken NY?
I think we might as well just go ahead and get Kenny. This is Kenny's segment. We might as well go ahead and put him up on a hot spot again.
I know y'all seen John Wall. I know y'all seen John Wall watching Summer League.
I see John Wall out there,
But Kenny, the floor is yours on this tampering thing.
Cook on this. Don't you? So you're gonna sit here and tell me that all these deals that get done in one day, all of these deals are done, all the negotiations are done in one day? Get out of here with that. Everybody in the league is tampering. Don't just try to put that on the Knicks. Ain't no way that these deals is getting done this fast if there's no conversations going on or some parameters of the deals being discussed. That whole tampering thing is nonsense, man. They're just trying to hem up my Knicks, and they don't want us to be great. Knock it off. Everybody in the league is tampering because the deals get done too fast.
Be great. Be great was a nice touch. That was a nice touch.
Does anybody else have anything to add to that?
I do. I just want to double down on what he said. There's no reason why free agency starts at 6. And at 6 o'clock and 35 seconds, I got 12 notifications of all these deals being signed. I think the problem people are hating is the Knicks said, let's make this, a nice little event. Let's go out, get some dinner. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk. I don't understand the issue. Everybody in the league tampers. If you're not tampering, you're not winning. Well, let's just be real. I said this in a group chat. If I'm a player, if I'm Jalen Brunson, and I feel like I want to leave the Mavs, I'm going to make sure I got something secure, which was the Knicks. So I don't see an issue with tampering. Everybody tampers. If you're not tampering, you're not winning. Pretty much, I'm just going to put it out there like that.
Yeah, like Chris said, you don't leave one job without having another job.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Like Kenny said, man, every team. You don't think some of these players, when they be doing all this covering up their mouths, you don't think they be sitting there talk about their futures? Know what I mean?
The Blazers should get hit with tampering. Because remember that picture of Nurkic and all them with Jeremy Grant?
It's a lot. Every team tamper. I just think
of KD in the Blazers uniform. They ain't tampering.
Lakers should have got hit with tampering with Anthony Davis too.
No, I think we're all in agreement.
I can't disagree with you on that one, buddy. Can't fight with you on. If you look at the diameters that what Jalen Brunson and Knicks are going through, you were absolutely right, Chris. But we didn't.
So I mean, I think that's the thing. I think it's a joke. I just think it was the public display of affection, so to speak, and how they went about it is the only issue that they have. But yeah, we all know this is dumb. Like what are we doing? Let's not make it worse by penalizing people for the obvious. Like it don't make no sense. But we'll see what punishment it is. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. They be trying to OD sometimes when it becomes the tampering too.
So they're gonna take away their draft picks. New York ain't gonna have no draft picks.
New York don't even want their team to draft because they can't do it. Am I lying, Kenny?
We got like 8 draft picks, so they could definitely try to come for them.
Nah, they most definitely gonna come for him. And then they're gonna send Phil Jackson back to be our scout again, so he can go to sleep.
That's a Lakers problem. Don't put that on them.
Yeah,
I'm trying to take it back to the Knicks, man. We don't want Phil out here.
Foul language is not allowed on this show, Devin.
All right, so I'm about to pivot. Something else happened.
Phil Jackson is considered cursing in New York Knicks.
So I want to actually pivot from the approved topics because Phil Jackson's name came up, which reminded me that Jeannie Buss had a tweet since we haven't been on air. And does everybody know what tweet I'm talking about?
Yes.
So the question is, who was Jeannie targeting with her tweet? You want to talk about who people target? Was that a shot at Magic? Is that a shot at LeBron? Is that just I drank too much? Like where and why do you send that tweet when you sent it as the CEO when you allegedly have 1,000 people in your ear and it sounds like you wish you had guidance? So it seemed odd to me. It seemed like she don't believe the people around her are able to do the job. I don't know what it says about your new head coach that you tweet that. I don't know what it says about your star player that LeBron, for all this, I'm not the biggest LeBron guy, but I understand how hard it has been on LeBron to try and win over those fans, especially with the tragic loss of Kobe. They were defacing his murals and everything else. So why would you re-energize that going into this season, coming off a bad season. Like, I just think the timing was awful. I don't think it was wrong for her to say per se. I can understand where she was coming from, but I don't think you can do that. Like, your team is way too dysfunctional for you to start sending tweets like that. So, Dev, as the resident Lakers fan, I want to pass it to you first.
Let me sit on this hot seat real quick. Let me go ahead and say what you just said about Jeannie. I think she was drinking. I think that alcohol hit her, and she got depressed. She got in her feelings. She had the candles lit and it had the soft music playing, and she was just crying like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Not, but on some seriousness though, I'm with you, Ray. Like, who are you targeting? It's like, as you come into this team, and as we all know, the Lakers have this very high expectation. The Lakers are supposed to be in the finals every year, supposedly. But, as Ray keep on, throwing salt on the wound, we wasn't even a play-in team this year. And she wasn't wrong, but I just think at the wrong, you was just at the wrong time. I just think that bottle got empty too quick for her. She didn't realize that bottle was going to go that fast after she was going through her sorrows. And she was like, oops, too late now. It's out here. But it's just a bad look so far, especially as we were trying to retool this season and try to get AD and LeBron back on the same page and hopefully build, a right team under Coach Ham. So she fumbled the ball on that. We almost down here with the Knicks.
Hey, yo, here we go with these little shade, little jabs at the end.
Off and turned his mic off just like
taking a page out of Ray's book, throwing a little jab at the end.
I don't throw jabs. Y'all been throwing jabs at me.
At the end, throwing little snide comments at the end.
Up on my jacket, I ain't even account for it. Kenny, would you like to respond?
I'm sorry, Kenny, man. Please.
No, I'm gonna ignore. I'm gonna be above. When they go low, we go high. We're not going.
When anybody from New York ever do that?
We're not going to dignify that with a response. What I will say though is, I told you, boy,
Chris got these punches that come out of nowhere.
I'm not listening to him either. His team has been as irrelevant as my team, so we're not going.
I'm glad you know the status. Ain't been relevant since the 70s.
Your team been relevant?
I mean, we
They made it to
relevant in the 90s. What's your point? We can go back and forth with this, but the bottom line is we both going on 30, 40 years without a championship. But let's stay on topic. We'll stick with Jeannie. I just think, she was definitely emotional. She definitely was in her feelings and let some things slip out over social media. And I'm not sure who is toward, to be honest with you, because you could say there's a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. Is she going at Russ for opting into his contract? When she says the comments with people about the team, is she going at LeBron because he keeps on, they keep on doing all these different things to accommodate him, and this, that, and the third. Like it could be a couple of things. Is it AD? Are you questioning his commitment to the team because he has been able to stay healthy? Like, I just think that it's a few, I think she was spraying bullets. So it's a possibility that she was hitting multiple targets with this one. So.
Doing the drive-by, huh, Kitty?
Yeah. She just emptied the clip right quick. Yeah, all y'all can get this smoke. So I'm not really sure who was directed towards, but she was clearly in her feelings. And at this point, I think, Phil Jackson might need to go on over there and give her a hug and console her. Maybe that'll get her off.
So Jackson needs to go ahead about his business. Nah, we ain't having that. We don't want her whispering sweet nothings in her ear. The next thing you know, that bottle gonna get tilted back again.
Oh, Chris.
See, look, see, that's exactly how Jeannie was right there.
It's only one person I feel bad for, and it's LeBron. Dev, you weren't here when I said this, but LeBron saved the Lakers out of another 5 years of misery. He brought winning back to their franchise, and I feel bad for him right now because there's a whole bunch of dysfunction right now in LA. And as old as he is and going into his 20th year, it feels like he's the only person that's all in and has a clear-cut, vision of what he wants. Anthony Davis, a lot of people say he got complacent since he got his ring. Russell Westbrook, it doesn't make no sense how you've been in the league this long. You got worse as a shooter. It just baffles me how that even remotely happens. Because I look at LeBron, who in 1 year we saw in the finals, the Spurs said, go ahead, shoot. And now nobody's going to let that man shoot wide open anymore. So it just baffles me how he hasn't got better in his game. I wonder what all he does, I feel like in all season, is drive to the rim extra aggressive for no reason. So I feel bad for LeBron right now. And this team is very dysfunctional. And I think those tweets really just summed it all up and showed the dysfunction might go all the way up to the top. And so now, listen, I don't understand, make the trade for who you want or just be quiet and go to the season and hoop. This team right now, I feel, it's LA, so it's going to be a lot of, talks and talks and talks. But right now, nobody looks at them as a team that's destined to be in the finals. Some people barely think they're going to make it to the playoffs. Some people think they're a playing team.
Right.
And that's what they deserve to be talked about right now because they haven't shown anything. They look like the Kings right now. All this dysfunction I'm seeing right now reminds me of Sacramento. I'm sorry, Dev, but that's just the truth.
We're keeping it facts. We started to look like Sacramento.
And if LeBron wasn't on this team, we'd be talking about this team as a lottery team. So that's why I feel bad for that man. So, Jeannie, maybe everything doesn't deserve to be on social media, and I'm curious on who she's sending those shots after because, Paolo hooping right now. I'm sorry, but the boy, he's showing why he's the number one pick. But I'm curious to see all those tweets. You should have put an @ button on it, say how you really feel because we all curious now. It's only going to cause more dysfunction.
No, we agree. Chris, don't fall into the chat. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not falling into the chat at all.
I've heard you say about 3 times.
He hooping. Is he not?
I hear you.
He hooping. I'm not saying he's going to be this great player, but he's hooping.
Okay. That's all. I just put it out there. You can defend. You can do whatever you want with it. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. Josh Christopher hooping too. Let's just hooping. I'm not. No, I'm with. Like I said, I don't go too high with the highs and too low with the lows. But I like watching basketball, and right now he looked like the best player in this game.
That's fair, as he should, since he was the number one pick. But we can move forward with that, Jeannie. Be better, as LeBron said. So on the east side of things, and I'll start with you, Chris, because I think your team is probably could potentially be most impacted by this. Malcolm Brogdon gets traded for basically nothing, as far as I'm concerned, and the defensive player of the year, I guess, is going to go to the bench, which is a heck of a piece to have.
You think so?
Off the bench. Where are you going to play?
I'll wait till you really throw the question at me, and I'll dive into it.
So my question is, should the Celtics be the favorite to come out of the East with this trade?
I'll say this. One, I feel like the Celtics had the best all season because you look at what they needed to be better, and we said, more scoring off the bench and a true point guard, as we would say. And they got both that Gallinari, who's going to score and shoot off the bench at that wing position, and Brogdon. You say where does Smart come off the bench, but why not start Smart and just bring Al Horford off the bench and that's your backup big? Because Al Horford's only getting older. I would start Brogdon.
Brogdon,
Smart.
Paid him at the 4.
They done it before, and there's like we just said earlier. There's not a lot of true bigs that got dominant twin tower, even twin towers in general in the NBA. And you can say Tatum can struggle, but how are they going to guard Tatum? Because he can score all 3 levels, and he's quick and he's fast. He's going to blow by them. So as much that might be a quote unquote defensive challenge for him, the other teams will have that same problem. So in my opinion, I would start Smart. I would start Brogdon. And I think that's going to be a lethal backcourt duo on both ends of the court. You got the defense on this team is going to a whole nother level if you start them or don't start them because they can throw some defensive lineups out there that's going to hurt a lot of people. Do I think they're the favorite? I can't necessarily put them above the Bucks just yet. Even though they beat the Bucks and they went to the finals. I'm torn right now if I think it's between them or the Bucks. And if the Nets stay healthy. But that's too many question marks, and my Sixers too many question marks with them as well. I think the top 2 teams are the Bucks and the Celtics, and I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the Bucks. I think they have the better player.
Okay, Kenny.
Yeah, I think that while they have improved, while I like Malcolm Brogdon, and I think he's a better playmaker than Marcus Smart. I'm not sure if he's an elite playmaker. Like, I don't know, like if he's that guy that's going to cause Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to have the ball in their hands less. So that's my only concern about it. While I like him, I think he's better than Smart in terms of playing that point guard position. I'm not sure if he's that guy that's going to be like, yo, you over here, we're going to run this, we're running this set. I'm getting you the ball, this guy, I'm getting you the ball here, I'm getting in the paint and driving and kicking and things of that nature. I'm not sure if he's that quarterback like that's going to really command the offense and really command the respect from those guys to, trust him with the ball in his hands like that. I think they're still going to want to make plays with the ball in their hand. I think Jaylen and Jason Tatum are still going to want to make plays with the balls in their hands. So I'm not sure. I think it does make them better, though, at the end of the day. But I'm with Chris. I think Milwaukee, if Milwaukee's healthy, I think they're still the best team in the East. And I got questions about what's going to, what Brooklyn's going to look like going into this season. So we got to wait and see what happens with, all the turmoil that's going on there and what the product is going to be. But I think Milwaukee is the better team than Boston, even though they have had the better offseason.
But Kenny, with that, if you Boston, you asking yourself like, how long, how much do we want the ball not in Tatum and Brown's hands, right? So like I look at a guy like Rondo, and I saw him, with the Pelicans and all that stuff, really dictating where everybody's going, and I'm with you on that. But when I look at, even with the Clippers in their situation when he went there, how long is that going to last before you just say, hey, I wanted Kawhi and Paul George's hands?
That's what I'm saying.
I think, and then you bring a guy like that in. How much does that slow down your offense? Because, Smart isn't a guy you look at that's going to average 18. So do you want another guy that's kind of not that good of a scorer? I think he's a better playmaker than – and I agree with you. He's not the best. Like, I feel like Lonzo Ball, might be one of the only, still one of the only guys that's a playmaker that can knock down the three. But you're not getting Alonzo Ball. And he's just injury prone.
I think Brogdon can shoot it.
No, Brogdon can shoot it, but I'm saying he's not a better playmaker than Lonzo. He's 50, 40, 90. Brogdon was a 50, 90.
He's one of them.
But yeah, I'm not. It's not nothing to do with scoring. I'm talking about playmaking wise, I feel like Lonzo is probably one of the best playmakers in the game that's still going to do the point, and knock down the shooter. You disagree that Lonzo's not a playmaker?
I don't think he's one of the best in the league. Like,
yeah,
you think him and Brogdon on the same level as playmaker and passing?
I take Brogdon
I don't see that
every day of the week,
difference.
and I don't. For me, as players, I don't think they're that close. Lonzo hasn't shown me he can consistently do it for a season yet. Like, he got traded.
I agree with you on that. He got, but Brogdon's been the same for the past 2-3 years. He ain't been playing a lot.
That was what I was going to speak to.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to speak on. Like, Brogdon,
I think it's a piece. But go ahead, Dev.
It was a good move for the Celtics,
but
I don't think it was the move like what Milwaukee did when they traded for Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That point guard that you can be like, all right, I think this is the point guard that can get us over the hump, that can kind of, help Giannis. Now, I'm not saying Brogdon won't help Boston out, but my biggest question about Brogdon is his health. What do you do with Marcus Smart? I think you kind of have to, throughout the season, you're going to have to kind of figure that part out. Do you keep him in that starting rotation with Tatum and Brown with Brogdon, or it's not the first time. This won't be the first time that Smart came off the bench. Because you got to think, in the beginning of his career, Smart was coming off the bench, and he was still, being that productive player, off the bench. You're just more productive now because you're getting that more time and more bump. But I agree with y'all. I think Milwaukee is still with good health. Milwaukee is still the better team in the East. But the only thing, like, it was a good move. They get Brogdon to get a point guard that can, possibly put you in a better position. But it's just that health wise for Brogdon for me. Can he stay healthy for at least 60 something games this upcoming season? And if you can, what value are you going to bring? Are you going to be the guard that kind of slow Tatum and Brown combo down, or are you going to help them, to get them to the end of the goal?
So I hear y'all about how he's going to impact Tatum and Brown. You know who led the playoffs in turnovers last year?
Tatum.
Tatum.
I understand.
Yeah.
But you gotta trust the guy with the ball.
No, you don't.
Put the ball in his hands.
No, you Golden State puts the ball in Draymond's hands at certain times for a reason. So I think this is a situation where I think it is a clear 2-team race. I don't think Miami is going to be able to get back with what they've done and what they've lost. I think they take a step back. Mm-hmm. I think Philly takes a step back. I think they.
Yeah, ain't no step back. Ain't no step back. We in the same place.
They got to figure out the Tobias Harris situation, but I don't think that they're in that league. I don't put Chicago in that league. I don't have Atlanta in that league. So I definitely think it helps Boston. Now, as someone who was out on Boston for a long time and decided to jump on the bandwagon, I am not picking them. I promise you I won't pick them. They're going to have to prove me wrong and win a chip before I jump on that bandwagon again. But I do think this helps them a lot. I personally would bring Smart off the bench. And if he hates it, move him. Like, I think he has value, but he ain't that. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you for wanting to bring Brown off the bench. I'm not Brown. Not Smart. Yeah, I'm not mad at people saying that because like he's not a consistent offensive threat. His defense, is very. His defense is there. I just like that 2-guard combo because I look at a team like that's a smaller team. Like
they already have that with Brown.
I mean, Brown can play the 3. They've done it before when they had Gordon Hayward there.
I hear you saying what they can do, but if it was a recipe for success, they would have kept doing it. And I don't think it's you're putting your best foot forward when Jaylen Brown has to guard 3s. I think he's a much better player. Same with Tatum. I think they can do. Anthony Davis can play the 5. LeBron can play the 4. But I think they're better. When they're in different roles.
We can. It's all about matchup. So, just like we might see Al Horford instead of Smart, we might see Smart instead of Al Horford. You're not going to go super big against a team that's going super small, which most teams are.
That's fair. I would agree with that. But I think that's going to take a level of maturity when the game is we're going big. And I think
Smart got benched in the finals for Derek White. So and the Smart, like Dev said before he had to get up, the Smarts came off the bench before. So, and again, he's not this super offensive guy, so I don't think he should be upset with coming off the bench. If anything, he should like coming off the bench more because now you get some more touches.
Talking about offense. He did just win Defensive Player of the Year.
I was going to say,
but that's why I want him to start. That's why I want him.
If I'm the Defensive Player of the Year and you talking about sending me to the bench, I'm a fill away.
Well, I don't know that you necessarily.
All that defense player of the year.
Their best lineup is going to be with Smart, Brogdon, Jaylen, Tatum, and
Robert.
Williams.
Me too. I think that's their best lineup by far.
It's going to be their best lineup.
Right, but
Al Horford doesn't do much.
Golden State, they don't always start with their best lineup. So I hear y'all.
They switch to their best lineup to start.
Right.
Listen.
It'll be, and it could be a quick hook. Like it could be, with Horford, he could be the quote unquote starter, or you could do it the other way where you put Horford at the 4 and he's playing for 10, 15 minutes, and then you bring Smart in right after that. So it's ways that it could be done. So you don't necessarily have to be a starter and still
be that. The best lineup to me is Brogdon, Smart, Brown, Tatum, and Williams or Horford. But those 4 guys plus a big man.
Lineup.
Okay. Before we go, we did have some NFL news. Baker Mayfield gets traded. He gave some money back, which I think was dumb. He didn't give it back. It was like $4 or $5 million. He switched it to incentives. Mm-hmm. So it's incentive versus guarantee.
Necessarily give it back. Yeah.
I wouldn't have did it. Not to go to Carolina. and I'm not even guaranteed to
had
start.
much of a choice.
I mean, it's not like he had no trade clause. He go wherever they send him, but he worked with them to facilitate that. And the other guy that's in position ahead of you is guaranteed $18 million. So you better be head and shoulders above the guy making $18 million when we're only paying you $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the team's terrible. Robbie Anderson, he can try and say whatever he want to say now. We saw what you tweeted when there was rumors that Baker was coming.
I don't blame him.
It's my quarterback.
I get why he backed off it, but it is what it is. So he will be there. So my question for y'all is, who starts for Carolina game 1, knowing that they play Cleveland? I'll start with you, Kenny.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold is going to wind up starting, but I don't think it's his job to. I think he's on a short leash. I think if he starts struggling, I think they pull him quick. They give him a quick hook. So, but I think the other part is that, what you're saying about Baker giving money back and things like that. I think that was because he was so desperate to get out of there, and he was this was pretty much his only chance to be able to get out of there, because the only other opportunity that anyone was talking about was Seattle, and it didn't seem like they wanted to pull a trigger. And we're now in July, and this is 2 weeks before training camp. So I think he realized that he was at the point now that it was now or never. So he had to make this deal to get an opportunity to compete somewhere. So I think that was more his motivation in terms of giving that, rolling that money into incentives. So I think that's why he did that more so than wanting to get money back. He just wanted to make sure he got into training camp to get a full chance to be able to compete for the job. But I still think that, having said all of that, I still think it's Sam Darnold's job to lose. And I think you made the great point that he's going to have to really blow them away in training camp. Excuse me. And I think it's going to be hard for him to do that. You're coming in pretty much cold. You never worked with any of these guys. You don't have any chemistry or anything of that nature with them. So that's going to be really difficult to expect him to just come in and just really blow their socks off and really get busy like that, to the point to where they're going to now just turn the reins over to Baker Mayfield. So I think it's Darnold's job to lose, but I think he's going to have a short leash.
Chris?
Yeah, right now, unless Baker comes in there and just completely goes berserk in camp, in the preseason and show, like, listen, I'm the number one guy, I think Darnold is going to be the starter. And I'm with Kenny. He has a short leash as soon as he makes a couple mistakes or anything over. Like, of course, quarterbacks going to make their mistakes, but when you start to be the one, the obvious reason why we're losing out of games, then he's getting pulled. Listen, it showed for the Browns. I think they didn't care. I think they just said, listen, I'll take Jacoby over Baker. And for the Panthers, real quick, just to go on a mini tangent on them, I mean, they keep doing the wrong things. Like, I don't know why they're trying to go against what works in the NFL. This is not the 90s. This isn't the 2000 Ravens. These are all these teams that wanted a lackluster quarterback because they had good pieces around them. Or this is not when they went to the Super Bowl with a quarterback that I can't remember and they had a decent team around them. No, this is 2022. To win, you pass. You can run the ball, but with no offensive line, have fun with that. And with a great defense, have fun with that. So they keep trying to win without a franchise quarterback. And ever since they got rid of Cam Newton, they've been struggling. All these different quarterbacks that's been in rotation. They even tried Cam out again. Like, instead of trying to find a replacement quarterback, because I'll be honest, Darnold has not lived up to this number 3 pick. Baker for sure has not. He's not even the best quarterback in his draft class, and it's not even close. And so I think the Panthers need to seriously look at finding a franchise QB. It's nice that they got these 2 guys coming in from different teams because the teams didn't want them. They replaced them, and they couldn't wait to get rid of them. That's cute. But when they both do not work out, the Panthers need to stop playing around and get a franchise quarterback.
So I got a couple thoughts. I would say, for me, the name that's being left out of here, and I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me, I think this tells me that Matt Corral has not impressed them at all. Like, you just drafted a quarterback. Yes. So if he was showing anything in spring training or anywhere, I don't see why you make this deal. Like, I don't understand why you give up. It was just a 5th round pick, but why are you giving that up? The team is going to be trash. they have to be self-aware to know the team is going to be trash. And you have a guy you're paying $18 million and you just drafted a rookie. The heck is you doing? Like, I don't understand that by any stretch. I don't think the team will be good. I agree. I just said it again. I don't think Baker is a great fit. I wouldn't have gave the money back. And for what it's worth, Christian McCaffrey could make some of that moot because the division's not great. I think it's top heavy. I think Atlanta's going to be pretty bad, in my opinion. So New Orleans, there's a lot of talent, but I think health is key. And that was going to be my last point is you never want to wish this, but quarterbacks get hurt. If I'm Baker and Pittsburgh quarterback goes down, there was already rumors there, like there's options that you might wait for that could be better suited for you long term. He's coming off a bad year. If he wins the job and goes to Carolina and they're 2-15, and like I don't see how that helps you when you're completely free the next year. So I just don't understand it from a business or career standpoint. You gave money back and you went to the worst team in the NFL by most people's metrics. I just think it's a losing situation that you just put yourself in versus just collecting your check and waiting until maybe a better position comes available. Houston could come like there's a bunch of places that if their quarterback goes down, I think Baker's definitely the next best thing. And
do you risk sitting?
Yeah, I like he probably. I do. I mean, but you could say he could say I want to play football. Like I'm going to get paid regardless. I want to play football. Like I think sometimes we forget that they want to play their sport. Like yes, you know, you can Le'Veon. He sat for the quote unquote business, but nothing good ever came out of Le'Veon's career after he sat. So there's a positive and a negative. He could just say, he got paid, but again. He hasn't been the same football wise. Yes, he got paid,
but Baker's quarterback money different. You risking a ton of money, right? But you don't maximize your opportunity.
But you risking a ton of money if you just sit on the bench and nobody trades you. Like at least with Carolina, he can say, "Listen, I'm right now. I got a chance to start. Doesn't care if I'm the best team. I can show I'm worth this amount."
I mean, it's a risk. I get the thought process. I wouldn't have did that. I would have took the guaranteed money and waited for, or had my pick of the litter next year. I'm fully healthy. I'm fully rehabbed. I got a full off season to come in somewhere versus going in there. Because what happens if you don't beat out Sam Darnold?
Let's be honest about Baker, though. He's not even all that. So, like, I don't see any team really trying to go after him. You think Baker's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
No, but I think he's a starter.
You can be, again, you can be a starter. And you cannot. Is he a guy that's going to lead you to the promised land?
I think if he sat and Tua does what I think Tua will do this year, I think he could have slid in there. I think there's a bunch of places he could slide in next year because I think there's a number of quarterbacks that's iffy. I think if Jalen Hurts don't perform, like I think they're
I would never be Eagles fan. We got rid of Jalen Hurts and brought up Baker Mayfield.
I'm simply saying based on play. Baker has proven when healthy, he can play well.
I say this about Baker.
Bad, but
when they put the ball in Baker's hand, they start losing. When they want to blame OBJ, and as soon as OBJ left, and they said Baker threw the ball,
I don't think he's a difference maker.
You do know when they got hurt, Baker took them to the playoffs.
But I'm saying that. I think that was more so because
Baker's not even better than Jimmy G.
I was going to say I think that was more so because of his running game and that offensive line than it was Baker Mayfield.
And I don't think anybody believes that was because of how great Jimmy G was.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So we say the same thing about Baker. Like,
I said he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. I didn't call him top 10. I didn't say
I'm saying like when you saying pick a litter.
Qualify that. So are you saying that he's a quality starting quarterback or you just think he's a serviceable starting quarterback?
I think he can be a quality quarterback. I think he can give you I think he can be 20. I think he can do 22 and 13, something like that.
That's serviceable. That's not quality. Because serviceable
quality.
I mean, quality.
Give me a name.
Nah, I gotta think because quality. Jared Goff is quality.
25 and 10.
Jared Goff is quality.
I think you could take either one of them and they would produce about the same. And I might lean Baker.
Let me look at NFL quarterbacks real quick. Let me look at some teams right here. Who's quality in the NFL? I'll tell you. I mean, I could tell you. I take Justin Fields over Baker. I take Goff over Baker. I take Kirk Cousins over Baker.
I wouldn't.
Of course, I take Hurts over Baker. I take Dak over Baker.
Well, Dak's paid like he's elite. So if we're talking quality and that's your comparison, then that's a problem for Dallas fans.
I'm just saying I would take him over Baker. I'm not saying
let's not do that.
Yeah, Dak's quality quarterback.
I agree. I'm saying the fact that that's who you went as a.
I know. I'm just naming. I'm just looking at NFL teams.
Don't
I'm just looking at teams, and I'm just looking at quarterbacks. I'm taking over Baker, and I'm taking Matt Ryan over Baker. I'm taking Ryan Tannehill over Baker.
I'm definitely not doing that. Go ahead.
Tannehill
had one good year in his career and he got paid for
it. And Baker's yet to put together that quality season that's going to get him paid because you saw nobody.
He had a year.
And is he the best quarterback in his draft class?
Lamar's in his draft class. I mean, what are we saying? Josh, he has elite quarterbacks in his class. It ain't like he got some weak class and he's just not good enough. Like he got potential Hall of Famers in his draft class,
and he has so much talent around him. There's no reason why he should be in that category.
Let's put the rubber to the road. Would you take Baker Mayfield over Carson Wentz right now?
No,
I don't think there's a big difference.
No,
he's
taking too long. It's not exactly
because it's not slam dunk. But I don't think Carson Wentz is immensely better than Baker. No,
well, I'm saying like if you're
Baker doesn't move a needle. Baker's not moving a needle for your team.
I never said he is.
But that's my problem. So he's going to wait around to get chump change. Why not just go to?
So if we're comparing him, is Carson Wentz quality or serviceable?
Right now he's serviceable.
I think he's serviceable.
But this is my point, Ray. This is my point.
Is an MVP candidate,
and I said right now, because what happened
with the coach? Are we talking about Carson Wentz or are we talking about Baker?
I was talking about Carson.
Right now,
okay, yeah.
Right now, Carson Wentz is right now today. Yes, he's how he's been playing the past couple of years. He's been serviceable. Now, Ray, the point I'm trying to make is you saying like Baker should have waited and then try to have his pick at a team. I don't think nobody's throwing money at him because he's not moving the needle for anybody.
We disagree. I think if
then it would have happened with Cleveland if he was moving it. That team, listen,
you can't throw money at him. He's not a free
agent. I'm telling you, he would have helped take that team over the top.
You don't let him. If you thought
the Browns have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, if he's this good of a quarterback, they would have won something. In my opinion, if
he took them to the playoffs, this is still Cleveland.
A playoff and actually
doing something in that division, in Lamar's division, he still took them to the playoffs.
And what happened since?
He's
only been there 4 years, and he was hurt.
I'm telling you right now, if Deshaun Watson didn't have all these allegations, and Deshaun Watson was playing this year,
they would telling us his skip fandom
but that's the thing. Obviously, Deshaun's
He's Ray Bayless.
Like I like to compare them to Deshaun's not fair.
No, I'm comparing what one quarterback does to a team for another. That's why one gets paid big money and one does not get paid.
I didn't say he should get big money. I said he was a starter.
Who didn't play on the field last year? He didn't play a game.
So how many people are you taking over Deshaun knowing that he didn't play?
I'm saying my point is
don't use Deshaun as an example and then you start backpedaling. When I put
I'm telling you right now that Deshaun Watson is playing on the NFL field. There's only about 2-3 quarterbacks I'm taking over.
Exactly. So what are we talking about?
But okay, this is my point. Is my point when you're talking about Baker Mayfield? Go ahead.
You wouldn't give Deshaun Watson a second thought
because he's elite. I never said Baker was elite. I said he's a starter.
So if your own team is ready to get rid of, like, what I'm confused on when you're talking about you should sit.
How many teams with no issues? How many teams are not trading their current starting quarterback for Deshaun?
Right. Okay. I agree with that. He's a quality.
What are we talking about?
I guess it's to me, the bottom line. But my thing is, he's a jag. He's just a guy. He's not going to change. He's not going to.
He's not taking your team to the next level.
He's not going to take your team to the next level.
No one said any of that.
But this is what I'm saying. But when you're saying he should wait, sit out, and then have his pick at a team,
right? He don't have that leverage to do that.
He don't have a leverage to do that. That's our point. Like, Okay, I mean, if he had that leverage, then you would think teams would be out there trying to get him because he's that good of a guy.
No, because most teams by the time they traded for Deshaun had already solidified their quarterback position and are paying them a bunch of money. So the issue was just like Kyrie.
Who's Houston's quarterback right now? Just help me out because I'm really out the loop. Who's Houston's quarterback right now?
It's the young guy.
Okay, next. Who's let me just look at teams right now. Where am I? Houston.
What is the point we're making?
Who is Seattle's quarterback? He's better than these teams' quarterbacks. Why are these teams trying to go get him?
Why wouldn't they? Because one, they were having the issue was his contract. They didn't want to pay him.
You know what this remind me of? This remind me of this DeAndre Ayton talk when he was saying, "Oh, this player is not good," but now he's talking about contract.
Right
what do y'all? I keep telling y'all, I didn't say he's great. You are making my point. DeAndre Ayton is Baker Mayfield. Thank you for making the point.
No.
Thank you for making the point.
No.
Because,
you're right. I love how you explain it.
Because if he was what Chris just said, if he was who he was supposed to be, people would be going to get him, right?
It was worth it. It was. Listen.
That's what Chris said, right? If Ayton was who he was, people would go get him.
Listen, I helped him out. He helped me out. At the end of the day, if Baker Mayfield is this guy, I'm looking at this NFL teams, and there's a lot of teams with trash quarterbacks that Baker should be better than, but nobody wanted to go get him. So I'm just confused. Like, he doesn't have the luxury. He doesn't have the luxury.
Most of those teams either have a quarterback that's making a ton of money, or it's a young quarterback that they're trying to see what they got. So you're not.
Panthers aren't doing the same.
The who?
The Panthers aren't doing that. Like Sam Darnold, the guy they just drafted.
That's why he ended up there, because they're the one team that was in a position where they do it. And I think we all think that was dumb. They are paying a quarterback a bunch of money, and they got a young quarterback. So I don't know what the heck they're doing.
To me, it was worth the risk because you're only paying $4.5 million.
And that's why it took so long. But most people, I don't think, was getting that deal.
But I don't think so. So I don't think that if
Baker's not a world changer, you're not trading your future for him.
What I'm saying is if they were shopping Baker, I'm sure any teams that they were talking to that they were offering to pay a portion of that contract. There's no way they were just shopping them and telling them that they're going to drop off this whole contract on another team's lap. They knew they wasn't going to be able to make a deal without doing that.
But what team is going to take that deal?
Nobody, because the man ain't.
Right. Because he's I believe he's quality. But if you look at other teams with quality quarterbacks, he's not necessarily an upgrade. So I'm not going to pay $10 million of his deal. No, I'm not.
I think he's only starting.
No, they're not paying 10 and a half. The Cleveland's playing the 10.
I think he's only a starter on 5 teams.
That's why I think that's why he finally got moved. I don't think they were initially offering that for.
Yeah, I disagree.
And I don't know that. And I don't know that. I don't believe he was willing to restructure initially, and he changed.
Well, maybe not the restructure, but I don't think that Cleveland was not offering it without offering to pay a portion of that contract.
A portion, but I don't think Baker initially was giving back money, and so I don't think Cleveland was going to make deals when they was going to have to pay 15 versus paying 10. I think Cleveland decided we'll swallow the 10. We're not swallowing the 15. And most people was going to make them swallow 15, and so they wouldn't move them.
Oh no! I listen. I hope Baker gets a chance to play so he can get a payday. Because right now he's been put in a crazy situation. The team replaced you, then the guy that replaced you might not even play. But they said we'd rather take another person over you anyway. So they ship you to a team that already got 2 quarterbacks in the QB room. So if he gets a chance to play, listen, he could do what Jimmy G did the year they went to the Super Bowl. And I think he had that roster with him in Cleveland, but they decided to put the ball in his hand too much when you already got 2 stud running backs. So my opinion, when did he get hurt?
Like week 1 or week 2. He fell, his shoulder was messed up all year.
This year, yeah.
And then he had other injuries too. Now he gutted it out.
Don't every quarterback.
That's even worse.
Didn't Tom Brady play with no ACL? Or that was a myth? Somebody reported.
So we're gonna compare him to Tom Brady.
I mean, if you're not getting compared to the GOAT, who you getting compared to?
So, what are we doing?
We're not doing nothing because at the end of the day, the Panthers didn't get better. The Browns don't want them. So, what are we talking about? Baker, do better on the field.
And I think he set himself up to fail. And I think his team should have told him, you don't want to go to Carolina.
You're that guy. If you're that guy,
but we established he's not that guy. Not with
no,
that
I'm
talent.
saying no. What I'm saying is, if Baker Mayfield believes he's that guy, he's feeling like he can go into any situation and compete for the job.
Then he's
like he did in college. I'm sure that's what his mentality is. I had to do it in college to get it out the mud. I'm gonna do it in the NFL. Get it out the mud.
And more power to him. And that's why I like Baker.
If I was him though, I would have went to Seattle and just threw the ball to DK and lock it as many times as I could. Got the nice numbers.
And if I was him, I would have waited, let Drew Lock play 4 or 5 games. The U.S. Open was trolling Drew Lock.
Drew Lock trash. I mean, he's not trash. He's an NFL quarterback, but Drew Lock is not an elite QB.
So I let Drew Lock play for 4 or 5 games. I let him get all the way through.
But the question is Seattle tanking to get one of these top quarterbacks in the draft?
Is what?
Seattle trying to, quote unquote tank to try to
get they may. That's possible. And I think they should do that, but I think you wait. I think opportunities would have presented itself. And I'll be curious to see if Jimmy G gets traded, because I think Jimmy G will get traded during the year.
Jimmy G might go to Cleveland, yo. It's July 7th. Jimmy G might go to Cleveland. If Jacoby's not it, Jimmy G might go to Cleveland.
You think they're paying $10 million on Baker and they're going to pay Jimmy G the deal? They can't pay another quarterback. What are you talking about?
And they already got Jacoby Brissett. They're going to use him.
They need to do something.
That's a stopgap.
49ers, listen, everybody need to do something. I just want my Eagles to play. That's why I'm really upset we're not talking about right now.
We'll get to this NFL once this NBA free agency end, but we're waiting on DeAndre Ayton.
We're waiting on Kevin Durant.
DeAndre Ayton, a side note, a stepping stone to nowhere.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Listen, I just call it like I see it. That's all.
You go with the jabs, but this is what he says. It's called like you see it, but it's not a jab.
It ain't a jab.
Got it.
The league can make me a liar. Somebody go get the man.
Somebody go get KD.
Have you seen? You saw what allegedly Minnesota had to turn down? Brooklyn won. They want Carl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and 4 picks.
Of course, they asked for the moon.
But my point is, Chris is like, go get KD.
No, I'm with you, and I'm glad you brought that up because I wish we had a chance to talk about that. Like, I was going to bring that up.
Brooklyn's
that was absurd. I don't understand what they think they're going to get back. Like, isn't like that's
Rudy
why I think
Gobert messed up the market.
Exactly. Okay, finally we can agree on something. Gobert completely trashed the market to the point where.
Same thing Christian Kirk did to wide receivers. Rudy Gobert did the trade.
Like we obviously know that you're not going to get an equal return to Kevin Durant, but what they're trying to ask for now just don't make no sense.
All right. So people saying go get KD. You ain't nobody giving Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and
my Philadelphia 76ers. Let's give her to Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz, Tobias Harris with these type of 2 picks for KD right now. Let's run it.
You named a bunch of people that they would probably waive.
Look, I didn't name. I named 3 starters that would start their team in day 1.
What was it? What was the package?
Maxey.
Korkmaz is starting in Brooklyn.
Maxey, Harris, Thibault, Korkmaz, Shake, and 2 picks.
Shake starting in Brooklyn?
I said 3 guys.
So what 3 are starting in Brooklyn?
You're getting 2 starters.
You're getting 2 starters and first team All NBA defense.
Yeah, you're getting 2 starters and a good guy.
I got Curry, Mills, I think Harris still there. Is he back? He's back healthy, right?
Harris at 3. Harris playing at 3.
You might start Harris. I
mean, Kenny, you can go ahead. Just be honest. He giving up everybody that's not left-handed. For Kevin
Durant. Team left-handed, so
exactly. So RJ Barrett, Julius Randle.
I would package everybody except Bradley Beal. So I get it.
I don't got nobody but Bradley Beal. Oh man.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, we can wrap.
Let's talk.
This delusional Sixers fan, he just keep talking like
I'm not
they've never done anything.
I'd say my team right now is a second round exit.
Yeah, you shoot at other teams like your team's like it.
Because nobody can tell me about my team when I get frustrated because I know
it's
reality.
Not frustrated. It's
that's
just
why I love
it. You know they ain't it. So
but that's why I like talking about it.
But you talk big and bad like y'all ever did anything. And y'all choke every year.
I know we're gonna beat y'all. So that's all that matters to me right now.
And y'all gonna watch the trophy presentation just like us.
That's
so
like the rest of us.
That's
so
fine.
what did you really accomplish? You told me, you talked to me, you said, I don't care about the regular season, I care about the playoffs. That's what you told me. But y'all don't ever do nothing in the playoffs. Y'all year in and year out.
That is me how I react when I was on here when my Sixers lost. Did I not have veins popping out my head?
I'm simply saying.
So you should be used to that. So the fact that you have that frustration should lead you to not shoot jabs at nobody else.
But I have to though.
Y'all,
because why not?
I mean, you can, but
why not?
It's just
and I accept all the jabs back.
You outside the club talking trash at us when you outside with us, and it's
because I'm ahead of you on the line though. I'm ahead of you on the line to get in,
but you ain't gonna get in.
That's all it is.
I have a better chance at getting in than both of y'all though. I have a better chance to get in than both of y'all.
A chance.
We all outside, and none of our names is on the list.
Ain't none of us.
My name on the back list.
And the difference is your name actually should be on the list, but you don't perform. You don't get it done.
It's going to change this year.
You got an MVP candidate on your team.
No expectations. We don't have no expectations for our team.
Y'all fail to meet expectations every year. Your coach underperforms. Your star players underperform.
I mean, you told me something I don't know. I wanted Doc Rivers fired the first year,
and they should have. He ruined that franchise.
I mean, I've been sick. Kenny, I came on here and said I wanted Doc fired after we lost.
You did, and we disagreed.
And Sam Cassell should be the head coach.
When he walked to that podium and said what he said about Ben Simmons, it was over. He should have kept his mouth shut.
It was already messed up. The dude already folded.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
Kept your mouth shut.
Oh, that would stop him from folding again?
I bet he would have. If Doc Rivers doesn't say what he said,
if Doc showed him somewhat support and just in the media, but then again, that's me. He too light skinned. Stop being soft. He ain't said nothing.
But you got it. So that's bad coaching that you don't know your players.
Because my coach, you could say that, but my coach is gonna keep it $150 all the time.
And that is bad coaching.
That's great coaching because I got better after that.
But you're the type of player that can take that. Other players, you can't scream at everybody.
But then you got to check.
You can't embarrass everybody in the media. They don't respond well to it. That's your job to know that.
We never saw whether or not he was going to respond or not. So that's not even.
Doc Rivers saw him every day. You got to know who you can.
But we never saw how he responded to it because we never saw him on the court again after that.
And we would have had Doc kept his mouth shut.
No, he said his back was messed up. He came out and said that all year he had real life. Even his trainer said he had real life back issues.
Yeah, so it was a mental block that came from Doc Rivers.
His back?
Yeah, he said that.
He said Doc Rivers hurt his back. So
he didn't say Doc Rivers, but he said it was a mental block that caused his back pain.
It's time for me to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's time for me to finish watching the Summer League game.
Man.
So it's been real, y'all. I definitely appreciate y'all coming on here talking. I try to keep it a buck with y'all, but y'all be saying some wild stuff, and I appreciate it.
Y'all be saying some wild stuff.
Since I got back, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not saying he's all the way there, but Ray's giving me some Freddie vibes, man.
The same guy that said they would take Andre Iguodala over James Worthy, but we say some wild stuff.
Oh, he said that.
Good night, y'all.
I said it, and I
gotta wait to respond to Dev on here. You said you take James, man.
Yeah, I said James Worthy's not top 10, and I brought up Andre Iguodala, who has a Finals MVP.
Top 10 what?
Small forwards.
Iggy is?
Nah, he's not. But I didn't think James Worthy was either.
You can name 10.
No, you said he was.
In 1 minute. Name me 10 small forwards better than James Worthy right now today in 1 minute.
I don't have a minute. I would have to go through the list, but I can get to at least 5 or 6. I'm taking Kawhi and Paul George over James Worthy, just to give you an idea of where I'm at.
Give me Kawhi. I don't know about Paul George.
And that's fine. I saw what Paul George used to do on his own without without Magic and Kareem.
I'm here with you right now. LeBron, KD, Bird, that's 5. Elgin Baylor, 6. You can say Melo, 7.
I had Melo.
Dominique, Scotty.
Scotty's on there. No. You're taking Worthy over Scotty?
No, Dominique. I'm not mad at you. I'm just naming small.
No Dominique.
I said before that. No.
Julius Erving was a 3, right? Dr. J.
Dr. J. Come on, then. Yes.
Yeah, no.
We basically at 10. We had basically at 10, and we ain't even really started thinking back. and some of the older players.
I did.
So,
the only one, Elgin Baylor was the only one. Havlicek, I don't know.
No, get out.
Definitely EB.
So if you want to put him around there, he's
I ain't
barely
gonna
10.
lie. I ain't gonna lie. He 10. He 10.
Okay, but he ain't over no DeAndre Iguodala.
If you want to put him over Iggy, I'm not gonna fight you over Iggy. But my main point was he's not top 10. I threw Iggy as a name I threw out, but I'm not married to that take. But he's not top 10, and I'm married to that.
Yeah,
and I think we just proved that. And that's again just off the top of our head. I know we're missing some people.
We hit all the key guys.
Not taking him over. I'm not taking him over Melo, and I'm not taking him over Dominique.
All right, we disagree. I saw Melo do his.
And I love Melo, and I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not taking Melo over James Worthy. Nope.
I feel like
especially on the defensive end, it's not even close.
And that's fine.
Yo, Ray, let me see.
Piss me off and make me name Jalen Rose. No, I'm just kidding. We can go. Y'all be great. Y'all have a great weekend, and I believe we should see y'all Monday. Maybe DeAndre Ayton will have a new team by then. Maybe he won't.
There you go. Point shots.
Maybe your Wizards will, actually be a team that can make a play in next year.
As bad as we are, we still don't. We just lost our center, and we're bad, and we still don't want DeAndre Ayton. So that just lets you know what we think.
Because you paying a guy $50 million to get you a lottery pick.
Yeah.
We can go get Ayton if we want.
You already paying Kate.
But we ain't gonna waste our money. We ain't gonna waste our time. We've had enough subpar players in our history. We don't need to bring in another one. So again, y'all just be easy. Washington has a history of overpaying players, and we're not doing that anymore. And whoever maxes out DeAndre Ayton will be disappointed. Y'all have a great one. Take care. ASAP all day.
Barely.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all